Good morning, Daybreak watchers. We're going to get going in about 30 seconds here.
Involved and tune in to the Tom Hartman program Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. right here on your local Civic Media radio station.
Finding support for my child with ADHD felt overwhelming. I didn't know which direction to take, but Understood.org's resources helped guide me. Now I have the tools I need to keep us moving forward.
Good morning!
Morning! Good morning!
Good morning.
Good morning. We've talked the whole night through.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
This is where Wisconsin wakes up. It's Daybreak with Brian Noonan and Jamie Martinson. Here are your hosts, Brian and Jamie.
6:06 right now. Thank you so much for joining us this morning on the Civic Media Network. A beautiful day in store as temperatures around the state reach near 70 degrees. Not bad for a Wednesday. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And good morning, I'm Brian Noonan. We'd love to hear from you today, 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. Big day. Tomorrow is opening day, so later on we're going to talk to Marty Ronsky. She is the COO for the Milwaukee Brewers, so that will be a lot of fun. We're going to talk about the new Marquette poll, and then lots of hard-hitting political news, as always, here on the show. So
just a few headlines that we need to talk about, of course, today. So we'll try to get to as many of those as we absolutely can. Today's kind of a special day because there's a few things that we can celebrate along the way, Brian, if you're somebody who loves to do that. And sometimes you just need something positive to look at for a Wednesday, right? Or any day of the week.
Yeah.
Especially with this news cycle.
There's all these, I'm always amazed by these national days that we honor things that I'd never heard of. But look them up and it's like, oh, really? So today is National Little Red Wagon Day, huh? What is that? Okay, that sounds like fun.
Did you have a radio flyer as a kid?
I don't know if I did. I know we did for Molly. We had the red one with the wood sides, so you could take the slats off. So that was we definitely had that. That was part of suburban living back in the day. You had to have the red wagon to pull your kids around, or at least throw the cooler in when you took it to the park. So that was
usually what ended up happening with the red wagons, right? The kids didn't so much sit in them. You usually use them to haul things along with you.
And then it gets to a certain point in their life, and you're like, "What do we need this wagon for?" And nobody wants a wagon because everybody has a wagon. So
exactly. Exactly. It's also National Manatee Day. I'm excited to celebrate this one because I'm actually fascinated by the manatees. When we go down to Florida, I love it. There's a couple places down in Florida where you can just watch the manatees in those low, shallow waters, especially in the winter months. And I think they're absolutely fascinating. One of the coolest things to see. I can also relate. Who doesn't want to just float around in the water, come up for air once in a while?
But they're not. I mean, they're always getting hit by propellers. They're not the brightest animal in the water. Because you look at them, they're always scarred. They look like they've been in a knife fight.
They really do. But I'm fascinated with them. I think they're really cool.
Are you shocked by that, Parker? That the manatees are always hit by propellers?
No, I didn't know that manatees were getting hit by propellers and stuff.
Yeah, because they swim so close to the surface because they have to come up for air. So when those boats go by, they don't see them. They look like a big rock. Sometimes they blend in, so the boats actually hit them. It's been a problem. It's why the manatees were close to extinction for a while.
I've never heard of that. That is mildly terrifying.
Oh, now you can do some research.
And there's also always stories about people getting arrested and fined for messing with the manatees.
Yeah.
Because they're so slow-moving and docile.
Yeah, they're very cool, though. I'm fascinated by them. I have a lot of fun the few times we've been to Florida, and I got to watch them. So I'm always good with that. We do have some headlines, though, because as it turns out, Brian, in Iran, things have not slowed down much to this president likes to tell us that things have changed and this war is almost over. Turns out that is not actually the case.
That is not. Iran has received a 15-point proposal from the U.S. to reach a ceasefire in the war, two Pakistani officials said this morning. The officials described the proposal broadly as touching on sanctions relief, civilian nuclear cooperation, a rollback of Iran's nuclear program, monitoring by the International Atomic Energy Agency, missile limits and access for shipping through the Strait of Hormuz, a narrow mouth in the Persian Gulf. This sounds a lot like a proposal that was already in place, a plan that was put into place by I'll go back to President Obama. He put this in place, and then because it was President Obama, Trump decided to tear that up. And then now we started a war with these people, and now we're just getting what we had already, maybe, but now they're upset before they do it. So I don't know how this is going to work out, and I don't trust that we're actually doing this, to be honest with you.
Well, and let's be honest. I mean, this administration has told us 50 different versions of every story. Then when we actually hear the version that comes out of press from the Middle East or from, the UK, it turns out that most of the things we're being told at this point are not really happening. In other headlines, at least 1,000 troops from the 82nd Airborne Division will be sent to the Middle East in the coming days. According to three people who know of these plans and what they've told the Associated Press. The Pentagon is also in the process of deploying 2 Marine units that will add about 5,000 Marines and thousands of sailors to the region.
And other news out of Iran, the death toll from the war has risen to more than 1,500 people in Iran, over 1,000 people in Lebanon, 16 in Israel, and 13 U.S. military members, as well as a number of civilians on land and sea in the Gulf region. Millions of people in Lebanon and Iran have been displaced, and UN peacekeepers in southern Lebanon report, quote, intense gunfire and explosions as Israeli ground forces fight Hezbollah militants.
In other headlines from Iran, Egypt's foreign minister earlier today told the U.S. envoy that there needs to be concerted regional and international efforts to de-escalate the situation. He warned of the war's severe economic repercussions. Egypt imposed fuel price hikes earlier this month and has announced measures including reducing official overseas trips and tightening fuel consumption across sectors.
And finally, Iran will keep charging a fee for safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz, a senior Iranian official told India today. Japan said it will begin releasing 30 days' worth of oil from its state-owned reserves tomorrow, while the Philippines, another U.S. ally, if we still have any, has declared a state of national emergency. And funny enough, this isn't in the headlines, but somebody made a lot of money before yesterday, before Trump made the announcement that had the oil prices drop. So very strange. Mark chimed in. We were talking about it being National Little Red Wagon Day, and who doesn't love a little red wagon? Mark's in Prairie du Sac. He said, I got an Ace Hardware red wagon that I use to haul bags of potting soil, etc. Yeah, see, now I wish I hadn't gotten rid of that wagon that we had because I could use it for all that stuff. My shoulders aren't what they used to be for hauling huge bags of mulch or rock or whatever.
I have a foldable wagon that the wheels go underneath of it. It folds into like a nice little rectangle, and then it slips into the back of the car. And it can actually haul quite a bit of stuff. We use it when we have to be places or...
canvas ones, those green canvas ones?
Mine's red, so I'll call it my little red wagon.
There you go.
But I really do love my collapsible wagon. It sure beats all the things that I hauled around when my kids were little. And I used to have, because we had one of those super duper red wagons with the doors and a canopy and all of that kind of stuff.
Like the little Tykes wagon.
Yeah.
So
so my kids rode in style, but boy, was that thing a pain to haul around.
That's the beauty of having your children grown. You can travel a lot lighter.
Yes, you can.
I see friends of mine with little kids, and I'm like, oh, no, you got the double stroller, you got all the bags, you got the diaper bag, you got the toy bag, you got everything. No thank you.
We had all of that stuff as the boys grew. The worst part, though, was getting rid of the diaper bag. I don't like a purse, so everything went there. And then the compartments on the stroller were always nice too to hold things, even if the kids weren't riding in it.
The coat underneath the stroller was always good. But just putting it all in the car and carrying it around, and it takes forever to get out of the house. It's like, do you have all this? No. Where's the pacifier? Did you have the bottles? Did you bring enough diapers? Did you?
I don't.
Parker,
I
this is
don't
all
miss
hopefully
those
in your
days.
future someday. All the
this
pain
all
and
sounds
agony of being a
incredibly
parent.
exciting. You have really piqued my interest.
Yeah,
There
well,
you go.
listen, there's nothing
wait.
better than having to completely
Haul a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, to
move
haul
your
not my
entire
stuff.
being.
Yeah. There was some excitement down in Florida last night as we turned our attention back to the news.
Manatees?
Brian, no, but I wish we were talking manatees. But this is equally as exciting,
Yeah,
especially if
this
you're
is-
somebody who's paying attention to what could be quote unquote a blue wave. We shall see.
And especially because this happened in Trump's backyard. Democrats flipped 2 Republican-held seats in Florida, including a Palm Beach County district that includes President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago in a major political upset. I think they're going to have to start calling them upsets or stop calling them upsets pretty soon because it seems that this is, and not to
been a
get
pattern.
too... Yeah, not to get too excited about it, but it does seem to be a pattern. In that race, Emily Gregory is a Democrat. She's a first-time candidate. She defeated a Trump-endorsed Republican, once again, the kiss of death, by just over 2 percentage points, despite the GOP winning that same district by 19 points in 2024. Democrats also pulled off a narrow win in Tampa for their state Senate seat, even though the Democratic candidate was outspent by roughly 10-1, making it an unexpected victory. That has to make Ron DeSantis so happy.
You would think so. You would think so. And anytime Ron DeSantis gets a little unhappy, it makes me very happy. But I think for a lot of people, as you're watching what is to come in these midterm elections, and let's be clear, we got a long ways to go before we get there, right? But remember when Kamala Harris struggled in 2024, in part because voters were frustrated by the economy under Biden? It kind of feels like that frustration is spilling over a little bit more, and it's really hard the longer you're in office to pass that off as the Biden economy. And I think it's also going to be interesting to see what this president does, because he is sinking in approval ratings mostly because of the economy and the fact that people are paying a whole lot more than they were when he came into office, and that was what his agenda was as he ran.
He's already told us he's not going to do anything. His entire focus, he's already talked to NBC about not accepting the midterm results because he's sure they're going to be fraudulent. His whole existence now is focused on staying in power. He's going to be sadly surprised when the SAVE Act does not pass. There doesn't seem to be any way forward for it. And Thune and the Republicans are saying the same thing. I'm not just predicting. This is the Republicans in the Senate saying this thing is not going to pass. And he is banking his entire existence on that. And also now he's having to backpedal, and for all his bravado about how we won the war, he's ready to concede. You know, when you start the war and then you're going to the people you've started bombing, go, all right, let's work something out. It's like, you're not really winning.
Yeah.
They should be coming to you going, hey, listen, we need to talk.
And I think in this race in Florida, and I think this is something that you're going to see as the midterms really heat up, Emily Gregory didn't center her campaign on the president. She focused on the cost of living. It was on housing, insurance, everyday expenses. She talked to voters about what they're dealing with right now.
Yeah.
And that's how she won. Let's be clear. She wasn't running against someone like the Democrats have been doing in the past. She was actually running for something. And she even said that Trump is just one constituent out of 100,000 people that she represents, which I think is a pretty unique way to look at it when you're literally in his backyard. But, you know, according to the Democrats and the leaders, they say that this is another win that shows that they can compete anywhere if they have strong organization and investment, even in some of those very traditionally red areas. So it's going to be interesting as the midterms heat up. I'm excited to see how it plays out. And there's going to be more special elections as this progresses, too. It's 6:19 right now. You are listening to Daybreak. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan. Milwaukee senators are calling for traffic cameras. Why? Because we're all driving horribly. That's why. We'll get to that and more. This is the Civic Media Network.
Alrighty. Hello, live stream.
Good morning, live stream. Daniel comments, "What's up, everyone? Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday to you, too.
Thank you, Daniel.
Glad to be here today." Oh, look at us. I'm looking at weather. They're doing a whole, something smothers the United States. That's not what I want to see in my weather forecast.
We're being smothered.
I didn't get to see the whole headline because it flipped off the screen. All I saw was smothers 14 states.
Anytime I hear the word smothers, I just think of like holding a pillow over somebody's head. Like that's the only use of the word smother I can think of.
Yeah, nobody wants to smother somebody.
No. I hope not. Otherwise I'm in trouble.
Uh-oh. Brian's got some tweaks to make. Hopefully everybody's having a good day. I'm just excited for 70.
Oh, yeah. It's supposed to get about there today.
Yeah, it's going to be gorgeous. And then tomorrow for opening day, it's going to be a little cooler, but then now we have like chances of rain and snow.
Cool.
Well, it is March. Opening day is in March in the winter.
I swear, opening day used to be like the first week of April. Or maybe I'm nuts. I don't know. We got 20 seconds.
Okay.
Local news, community stories, and the conversations that matter most. Now, more Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
6:22 right now. Thank you so much for joining us this morning on the Civic Media Network. We are so glad that you're able to join us. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And good morning. I'm Brian Noonan. We'd love to hear from you. 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. Don't forget to have your Civic Media app ready because after 7 o'clock, it is another day of the multi-state text-to-win contest. And we're giving away another $200 today and another chance for the grand prize of the big queen mattress set with the mattress pad, the sheets, the active dough pillows, over $1,300, almost $1,400 that grand prize. So make sure you have your app ready. Now, if you're driving, don't mess with the app because
be careful.
We've got so many. Just people drive like hot garbage. Let's be honest. Everybody's distracted. Everybody's being reckless. And now, we're seeing accidents. We're seeing fatalities. And Milwaukee leaders have decided they're going to put a stop to this. And the leaders of Milwaukee, the alders and everybody, and residents are pushing for a bill that would allow traffic cameras to catch speeding and red light violations, saying it could help reduce crashes, injuries, and deaths. The bill had bipartisan support but never received a vote before the legislature adjourned, despite backing from both parties. Sound familiar? Wisconsin currently bans traffic enforcement cameras, but the proposal would have allowed limited use in Milwaukee, up to 5 cameras per district with a 5-year trial period. Now, they say traffic safety is a major issue. Milwaukee did see 77 traffic deaths in 2022, which was the peak. It dropped to 57 in 2025, which is still way too many. But there have already been 7 deaths and 966 injuries from 682 crashes so far this year, which is
that seems like
people are pay attention.
it's only the end of March, and we still have a few days to go at the end of March. So to me, this just feels like people literally not paying attention, not doing their due diligence when they're behind the wheel, and really not taking. It's a responsibility to drive, right?
But that doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. And I think a lot of people don't take that responsibility seriously, unfortunately. And then you get numbers like that.
I have a problem, though, with these traffic cams. Coming from a city where the corruption in traffic cams is wild, the fact that some are much more sensitive than others.
Yes.
I've paid a lot of money to the city for these either speed cams or red light cams. So I'm always skeptical of these, and they couch it in a way that everybody is going to be able to say, "Oh yes, who's not for safety? Who wants wants more people dying because they're hit by a car?" Let's be honest, though, it is a revenue generating tool for a lot of municipalities. Now, I'm not saying that the leaders of Milwaukee are being disingenuous. I'm saying let's say what it really is. It's a way to make a lot of money. Now, you'll catch some people,
sure,
but are you going to catch the people who are habitually reckless driving and habitually causing these incidents, or are you going to catch somebody who, for a second, didn't get from 35 to 25 fast enough? Which isn't technically that reckless.
No, it's not that reckless. And that's actually a good point, because this particular bill that was introduced to the legislature targeted what they consider, what the senators and the representatives who wrote it consider to be the most dangerous behavior, including drivers going more than 15 miles per hour over the speed limit, or running those red lights, with fines aimed at changing that behavior. Now, the only city that I've ever lived in with that has anything like this was Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and they had those red light cams for quite some time. They ended up having to take all of those off where they had them and where they were testing them, because of the controversies that they caused. And there were times that there were people who would get fined on these red light cams because, let's be real, a lot of people get to the stoplight, they know that the light's about to change from red to green, and they start accelerating maybe a little too soon, or you see them nudge past the line before it's actually changed. Well, it would flag them, they'd get a ticket, and just as you're saying, there was a lot of fees being paid out, and then you take it down, you try to argue with your local police department, and they're like, nope, it shows that you ran a red light. Well, no, actually,
there was a corner where I got 4 tickets at this corner, and it was for right turn on red. And I stopped, and you could see, but then I looked it up, and this corner was one of the top generators for revenue in this community. And I was like, yeah, because it's one of those lanes. It wasn't just a 4-lane where you come to a stop and you make that right angle. It had the little turn off lane to make that right turn, and I would always stop. But I guess I didn't stop long enough for them, because you could see my car stop because they send you the link to the video. I go, oh, look, my car stopped. Not for 4 seconds.
Right.
So I'm like, yeah, but there was no traffic. Why would I stop for 4 seconds when I could turn right on red? After the stop, I did stop. And you just go round and round.
And I get it. We want to prevent crashes. We want people to be safe, but maybe we should just learn to be better drivers. Maybe if we were paying closer attention to the road and we were all, doing our part to be better drivers, Milwaukee wouldn't see some of the numbers that they're seeing as far as injuries and deaths when it comes to being behind the wheel. Lawmakers say the issue will likely return next session because Milwaukee is continuing to work to reduce traffic deaths. They have this program called Vision Zero Action Plan, which is essentially a plan that eliminates traffic deaths by 2037. So it's a full action plan. If you're somebody in the area who wants to check it out, it's over at the City of Milwaukee's website, and you can read all of the different bullet points that they intend to put into place so that they can have safer traffic and less injury and accidents. which, again, I'm always for that. 6:29
Good
right
luck.
now. We hope that you're having a great morning so far. This is Daybreak. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan. More to come after this on the Civic Media Network.
All right. I was half expecting the traffic camera thing to be like an AI.
No, it's not. It's just a cam, unfortunately.
Or fortunately, depending on how you feel.
They are such a scam.
They are.
Parker, you going to do another Ask Me Anything on the show behind the show?
I mean, if people got questions,
It went well yesterday.
yeah, knock yourselves out.
Yeah, ask Parker to find out what it's like to be a
That's right.
technical producer.
There you go.
It's Civic Media. It's full of glitz and glam, I'm sure.
Oh, a lot of glam, not a lot of glitz.
Mm. Oh, my goodness. It's crazy that baseball starts tomorrow.
I'm very, very, very happy about it.
It's like,
I wish it didn't overlap with March Madness, though.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
That is the one thing.
how many weeks will weeks will it overlap?
All
2,
this
right?
weekend,
I was gonna say.
and then Saturday and Monday of the next week, which obviously, like, next week isn't bad, but like this is the best week of March Madness.
Yeah.
So, quality of games wise. So,
But after opening day, you got a little while where you're like, okay, it's
Yeah.
yeah,
There's a lot of baseball games.
there's a lot of baseball.
Turns out they play a
And-
few hundred.
Yeah, true. And especially this year too, because of the World Baseball Classic having happened to people.
yeah.
They're hungry for baseball, but they're not like as desperate for it as
Right.
normal.
Yes, that makes sense.
Also,
Oh,
Hello.
hello.
I know you guys enjoy the voice from beyond.
You're like a mushroom. Pop.
There he is.
You think this is a better week than opening weekend of March Madness when there's just a game on from like morning to night? That's a hot take.
They're both really good in their own ways.
Oh, don't give me that crap.
I
You got to pick a side.
Opening week of March Madness is more fun as a fan of chaos.
Okay.
This week is better for like game qualities because they're going to be closer matchups.
A true man of the sport over here, Mr. Olson.
Thank you very much. I'll be here all week.
I'm surprised I haven't gotten like side texts asking to place bets for you
Yep.
from the comfort of my home.
I was wondering though about your bracket, Frank. I have not heard.
I
We
have
can do
not
a bracket.
I have not looked.
You didn't?
I did it.
Okay.
I think we were talking about it on the show, and then I went, "Oh my god! I think I have
you
to
forget
submit
you
my
had a bracket?
Yeah, and I made one and started clicking boxes like,
That's what happens when you try to do a bracket in the middle of a move.
Yeah, that's true. That was a tough time for you.
let's see.
I'm not in the company one, but I'm in a different.
Yeah, I'm not in the company one. At
No,
all.
I don't like the ESPN one. I use the March Madness app.
I never join those because I always suck at them.
Just pick like based on
It's okay.
mascots.
The people that think they know their stuff also suck at them.
Exactly.
Yeah, if you look at the
Yeah.
pros or the experts and their prediction ones,
Oh God!
Even if you follow those to the letter, you're not nothing.
Yeah, no, the experts are like comically bad at it as well.
Well, I was just going to say, Roger, MLB plays 162 games, he tells us on text. Most years we can guarantee everyone wins 54 games and loses 54 games. It's the other 54 games
Couple
that
seconds.
count.
Across the state of Wisconsin, Daybreak with Brian and Jamie is back.
Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us today on the Civic Media Network. If you are listening in Appleton and Oshkosh on WISS, or in Madison on WMDX, or in Eau Claire on 93.5 The Tap, we are glad that you're here. And Brian, we are now about a half hour or so away from, hopefully giving away some great prizes today as we take more qualifiers for that Break into Spring multi-state text to win contest. We've got cash and a queen mattress set from Verlo, over about $1,400 worth of grand prize there, as we give you everything you need to go with that queen mattress. But very exciting stuff. So have your app ready, download it, because this is also the last week for you to qualify for these great prizes. So
yeah, the contest ends Friday, so we've got 3 more days of giving away $200, and then we will give away the big grand prize, that Verlo mattress. If you woke up this morning and went, man, I need a new bed. Oh, this could be your chance. There's nothing better than stuff for free, and free money and free mattresses is great. And what better way to celebrate opening day? We'll do that.
Yes.
The president has an unhealthy fascination with windmills and birds, and they're killing the birds. The birds are dying in the windmills. So much so that he is going to pay, not him personally, we, the people, are going to pay a French company $1 billion not to build a wind farm. I got to get a gig like that. Parker, we need to do a little research for me. Find me a gig where they'll pay me $1 billion to not do stuff, because I'm really good at not doing stuff. So if we could get that taken care of, you and Frank work on that for me. I'll cut you in a little bit. While I'm not doing stuff, I won't be busy, so I'll be able to cut a few checks.
Could you at least give me a small loan of $1 million?
Maybe I cut you some off the top, not even a loan, just a gift. Despite your usual acerbic treatment of me, I may be benevolent and cut you off a little something. But the Trump administration is paying nearly $1 billion in taxpayer money to Total Energies to cancel offshore wind projects that were originally proposed, by somebody else. Yes, the Biden administration. Thanks, Biden.
Right.
Under President Joe Biden, the U.S. was expanding offshore wind as part of, which is not a euphemism, as part of a major clean energy push with a goal of 30 gigawatts by 2030 to power millions of homes and reduce reliance on fossil fuels. But Joe Biden didn't have a lot of friends who were in the oil business, obviously, and wasn't taking over countries to steal their oil. But I digress, friends, because 2 canceled projects off New York and North Carolina could have generated over 4 gigawatts of electricity, making them a key part of that broader clean energy plan. And we know, if we know anything about Donald Trump, he likes his energy and his reading partners dirty.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we've seen it since he's taken office, right? And even before he was reelected for the second term, he reversed a lot of strategy. He talked about freezing permits, which he actually did once he got into office. He's halted new offshore wind development, and now paying companies to essentially walk away from these projects entirely. And instead of building wind farms, Brian, Total Energies will now invest in oil and gas projects, including liquefied natural gas, or LNG as it's called, that will be exported, and they will also invest in drilling in the Gulf of Mexico and shale fields. This has literally everything to do with the people who have donated to his campaign and who are in his inner circle. And the fact that he is using taxpayer money to make this happen should be maddening to each and every one of us.
Of course, $1 billion for that, and yet he says no to funding. No to the funding that would have paid TSA agents. He and his family are grifting over $1 billion so far, and he's only been in office this time not even a year and a half. So, the fact that we're going to pay somebody not to do anything, doesn't that go against the whole Republican pull yourself up by your bootstraps, make your own way, do your own thing?
Yes.
To pay somebody not to work? I thought that was, I don't know, for welfare moms and people who were exploiting the system.
Well, it turns out if it's for their inner circle, it's okay.
I see.
If it's connected to the president or that particular inner circle, then those things are okay, and the rules don't apply to them. We've seen that over and over again, and this just happens to be another one of those particular cases. Now, what I think is also maddening about this is if you're worried about the $1 billion, which you should be, that the president is using to get out of this contract, there's other companies with offshore wind leases that total more than $5 billion. And they now may seek similar payouts, which would potentially increase also the cost to the taxpayers.
And I'm wondering how people here in Wisconsin, who we rightfully complain about the utility prices all the time, our energy bills are going up, electricity is costing more and more. And then you see the president, and maybe you voted for him, maybe you didn't, but you see the president paying a company to stop this because he's making money off this deal somehow. Follow the money. Somebody in his family is making some money off this. Turning a viable alternative. Wind. Listen, if you're older, you probably don't understand how it all works. That's called progress. Things change, things move on. Wind is a viable alternative. And the fact that you hear that these offshore wind farms could generate enough power to power millions of homes, and yet the guy you voted for doesn't want it, and the money you're paying in your own electric bills keeps going higher and higher. I don't know how any of us can rectify those things and say, well, again, he's not. The pattern is he does not work for us.
Right.
This administration does not care what happens to regular people. It's all about big money and enriching himself.
We've got a couple texts rolling in. John from Oshkosh chiming in this morning to the conversation. He's listening to WISS. He says, corporate welfare good, welfare for single mom bad, said with sarcasm, of course. And we also have Scott from Madison listening on MDX this morning. If you math out $1 more a gallon of gas a day, that is $200 to $300 million. $300 million. That's 85 wind turbines. That's 30 million cars a year. Wow, that's some.
Scott's computer is on, or his calculator's on fire.
Say, holy buckets! You're doing way more math than I could ever do on the fly, especially if you do want to chime into the conversation. 1-855-752-4842. That's 1-855-75-CIVIC. I mean, but I think that's just it. If you're sitting here this morning and you're like, oh, well, he's the president, he's entitled to do those things. Just go look at your own electricity bill. And I think that's really what it comes down to, because he is enriching himself. He's enriching his family mostly, and he's also enriching those around him. And he doesn't care. He doesn't care about what happens to the people who have voted for him and for those people who didn't, who are now just living through what this administration offers. But when we look at what's happening in our own houses or in our own homes, right? You mentioned it. We have these rising energy costs. We're paying more at the grocery store. We're paying more for healthcare. And the economy is stretched so thin for so many people. And we hear about these supply issues and we hear about this growing demand for electricity, but then we go and cancel projects that would have essentially made all of that much more doable for so many people. And let's be clear, this was in New York and North Carolina, but, there was also plans for this to expand to other parts of the country if it was successful. But, Biden did it, so we don't want to keep that in play. We can't do that, of course.
And there's not much slowing down on these data centers, which need more and more power. So we have to find a way to generate that power, and the wind doesn't stop blowing. So
turns out
you got to figure it out. And I would rather have a wind farm near me than an oil refinery. And that's no shade, because we all, listen, I'm not one of these anti-oil guys. We need oil at this point. But I would rather see windmills than clouds of fumes coming out of these refineries. And I live not far from an area that has a lot of big BP refineries. And that is not a fun area to drive through. It's a blight.
No.
I drive through there and I'm like, oh man, this is ugly. But then I drive past a wind farm somewhere out in the middle of a field somewhere, and I'm like, oh, that seems very peaceful. And I don't notice birds dropping out of the sky at an
They've never fallen
a crazy
on me.
rate. No, I'm not. Now, granted, I'm not wandering through looking for dead birds, but
Right.
Planes hit birds. Should we not have planes?
I mean, we know of one moment in time when there was literally birds that caused a plane to drop out of the sky because they hit the engine and then had to make that emergency landing.
There's always bird strikes,
of course, but clean energy is like wind has no fuel cost either, right? And once it's built, it can help stabilize the prices. And we also live in a time right now where we're watching these global markets fluctuate because of more actions by this president in the Middle East, right? So the prices are going to go up and consumers are going to feel it. And at this stage, I don't know why we're not doing more to invest in clean energy or a more renewable resource.
Oh, you know
And
why.
I know why.
You know
I know
why.
why. It's because the president and his cronies, and I get that.
It's big money. It's money.
is.
That's all it is.
We've got Lynn chiming in from Golden Valley, listening on WCFW this morning. Wonder what happened to all that money from the stolen Venezuela oil tankers. Last I heard, the money was put into accounts controlled by Trump. Never heard the outcome. She also says glass buildings kill birds by the bucket load. That's true. That I do know. Clean your windows sometime at your home, and you'll find out how much those birds don't pay attention.
Yeah, birds are the reckless drivers of the sky. How come we don't have cameras up there, Milwaukee?
We should.
Birds are causing all kinds of commotion. But yet we have to focus on me going 3 miles over the limit and maybe only stopping for 2 seconds at the right turn. I'm making this very personal today. There's a lot going on, and I'm not having any of it. I'm not buying this whole thing. Yeah, all the Trump buildings do kill birds. Lynn focuses. Lynn is to buildings as Trump is to wind farms. Lynn wants the buildings abolished so that just like. But you're right. I mean, listen. You got it's like in retail. There's an acceptable amount of loss. I feel that way with birds. There is an acceptable amount of loss. It's up to the birds to pay attention. They've got the whole sky. The buildings only go up 60, 70, 80 stories. Fly around them. If you're that honed in, maybe look up from the butt of the bird in front of you. Stop flying in formation. Be your own bird.
Perhaps.
Yeah, do something like that. That would be better, I think.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's a good metaphor for all of us in life, right?
Yeah, stop following. Stop following. This is good news. When we come back, if you have a side hustle, maybe you drive for Uber, maybe you drive for DoorDash, one of those. This is a hard time for you too. We talk about just driving to and from work. What if driving is your work?
Right.
Well, when we come back, DoorDash is doing a little something for their drivers, which is good. If you're a DoorDash driver, I've never used DoorDash, but I know my daughter uses it nonstop.
I love DoorDash.
Yeah,
I love DoorDash. They bring things right to my house. That's what I can appreciate about them. Yeah, they're gonna do a short-term help out their drivers. So we're gonna talk about that. And hey, as long as we're talking about things that we're gonna be doing this week, don't forget tomorrow, since it's opening day, we're gonna give you a chance to win some Brewers tickets to a game in the future. So you definitely want to be listening tomorrow morning. We got a game and all that good stuff all set up. So lots going on. It is 6:48 right now. This is Daybreak. I'm Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan, and this is the Civic Media Network.
Brian, I didn't know you were going to get so inspirational today.
You never
Be
know
your
what's
own
coming
bird.
out of my mouth.
Wow. Caught my attention with the be your own bird.
Thank you. Be your own bird. Be a goldfish, Parker, and your own bird.
My attention span's pretty short. I'm a pretty good goldfish.
Christina on on YouTube chat saying good morning from Florida.
Ooh.
Well, thank you for listening. That's some
Yes.
dedication right there.
That's the beauty of the app and the internet. You can listen anywhere. We are happy that you do.
Absolutely. Oh, it's going to be a beautiful day in Madison. All the bikers are out. People are already running in shorts this morning.
Yeah, I can see a little bit of sun
They are
peeking out of here.
dedicated.
Looks very nice.
They're like, nope, we're getting a jump start on this.
I'm also really appreciating the sun coming up earlier now.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
And the fact that it's up later and
Yeah.
It's a good time of the year.
It is. You know what? Credit to the people that made our logo. The orange gradient in our logo is perfectly matching what's in the clouds right now.
It is actually.
Yeah.
Look at you, touching grass figuratively.
Thank you.
Enjoying nature, admiring the beauty around you.
Well, Jenny is a photographer, so maybe she drew inspiration from a photo she'd taken.
All right, we got 10 seconds here.
Or she has cataracts.
Now back to more of Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
6:52 right now. We hope that you are having a great start to your morning. Halfway through a work week, which we love because, well, anytime we can start already looking forward to a weekend and talking about opening day of baseball, it's a good day. And hey, we're also about 8 minutes or so away from giving you the first word of the day in that multi-state text to win contest. So make sure you have your Civic Media app ready because, well, you don't want to miss out on cash and a really nice mattress set. I'm pretty sure.
That is correct. So the new word coming after 7 o'clock. Hey, if you have a side hustle, if you're a driver, whether Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, any delivery driver, and I'd like to hear from you because gas is killing everybody, but it's really got to be hurting you. How much has it cut into your business? Because you have to be making a little less money unless you get some sort of deal from your company. That's DoorDash is doing that. They're launching a temporary emergency relief program. I should have given you the number, 855-75-CIVIC, 855-242-4842. But I just assume you're smart enough to already know that. Gas prices have jumped more than 30% in the past month, nearing $4 a gallon. That's based on global supply disruption tied to the Middle East. You know that, the Strait of Hormuz, all of the fun that goes along with gas prices going up. But the program from DoorDash is aimed at gig workers who rely on driving for income, and they're being hit the hardest by higher fuel costs. So this is good. This is good. I drove for a period of my life, a very short period. I drove for Uber, and when gas starts going up, you're like, I'm not making any money. This is ridiculous. I'm out here putting miles on my car, wear and tear on the vehicle. I'm paying a lot of money for gas. And then I have imbeciles getting in the back seat who, are doing all God only knows what back there. So it's got to be tough. So this is good. If you're a driver who completes at least 125 miles of delivery per week, you'll qualify for extra payments to help offset fuel expenses.
Yeah,
I would just give everybody a bump.
You would think so, but the weekly payments will range from about $5 to $15, depending on how many miles a driver logs. Now, DoorDash says this program could effectively reduce fuel costs by up to $1.90 per gallon each week for these eligible drivers. Now, unfortunately, like most good things in this world, this relief program is only temporary, and it's only set to run through April 26th, meaning support for it may end if those gas prices remain high. Now, I don't want to
say
that
the war will be over by then. We've been told that we won, Jamie. I don't know if you've been paying attention.
It's already supposed to be over, isn't it?
We obliterated them. The war is over. We're conceding. Yeah. I mean, we're negotiating, and it's all good. Gas prices will drop.
Rand says that they're not negotiating. I'm pretty sure that maybe the president is only negotiating with himself. But anyway,
he is. He talks in the mirror and he listens to himself, and then his hair flips up and he thinks it's somebody's mouth. But and as we know, as he told us, only an idiot would think that gas prices won't drop very rapidly when this is over.
Yes. And here's the thing. They're not going to, because we're already going through our reserve barrels. We know that in order to keep prices and keep the oil moving, we've had to dip into that, as have had other countries have had to do that. So it's going to be a bit before those prices come back down, even if this were to end today, which, let's be realistic, we'll get into that a little bit more this morning. Now we're sending troops over, and we'll have details next hour. But with all of that happening, this is not ending anytime soon. And
no. And then DoorDash is trying to keep people out there because we have all been talking about changing our plans, whether it's for vacations or getting to work a different way, carpooling, whatever you can do. And if your entire business is based on people driving, you have to do a little something to do this. Now, that's why I wouldn't mind talking to a DoorDash driver.
Right.
I'm guessing DoorDash is a much more localized thing. So you're picking up from local restaurants, you're driving short distances. So, it may not be as bad, but any extra driving is costing you money. So this is nice. It's a nice little perk. Yeah. It's in the company's best interest. They're not doing it out of the goodness of their heart. They know we got to give our drivers a little something, or they're not going to drive. Maybe go get your own food. No, don't. I shouldn't say that, because then people who are drivers are like, wait, no, that's how I make my money. Yes. So tip a little more. Here's the key. And you tip on DoorDash, right?
Yes,
probably not
you
Parker, because he's
do.
notoriously cheap.
No, I use DoorDash all the time. And I think this is something to keep in mind. 2 points about this is because these gig workers don't have the same protections either as traditional employees. So when we see these prices skyrocketing, right, it just makes sense that there would be some sort of program for them for raises or reimbursements. And if you're somebody who DoorDashes or has things delivered frequently like I do, my schedule doesn't always allow for me to get out to the store when I need something in a hurry, you're going to start seeing that increase on your total purchase as well. I've already started to see it even in the tips, even in the different delivery fees that some restaurants tack on, or maybe the app tacks on.
Well, that's probably where their program is coming from, right? There's going to be a little more in your fee. Yep. To cover that, because I don't see DoorDash, and no shade on DoorDash, but I don't see them going, you know what, we're willing to lose a little cash to keep our drivers happy.
No. Do that.
And it's like I have no qualms about tipping a driver. I don't have food delivered. I have but we don't tip like the Amazon guy or the UPS guy when they come, but they don't hang around. They just drop your stuff, throw it over the fence or whatever, and then they scurry away. Like thieves in the night.
They don't have to drive all over to multiple places to get your stuff either, right? Like they pull up to a hub, somebody loads their truck.
They have to do that for
DoorDash, because they have to go to the restaurant and then they've got to wait for it. Then they've got to bring it to your house. Or
but they're not going. I mean, they're not going to multiple restaurants in one run.
Sometimes you can request multiple things in one run, and I know some
talk
people
about
who do.
Bougie. That is crazy bougie.
We don't.
Hey,
do that.
where are my servants? My servants need to bring me food from all over town. I don't even have pizza delivered. I always go and pick it up.
Oh, you are a much better person than I am. I have a few things
to learn It's about
from
time
you.
somebody realizes it.
I admitted it right here on the air. It will live in perpetuity. It is 6:59 right now. This is Daybreak. I'm Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan. When we come back, the first word for the Text to Win contest and stuff you need to know. This is the Civic Media Network.
That's a fun out.
Yeah.
It's got a big finish.
Yeah, who was that?
It was Dropkick Murphy.
Oh, there you go.
Workers song.
Nice. Do we have our intro? The stuff you
Yeah.
need to know?
Oh. Frank.
He's not in here.
Frank.
Well then.
We'll message him. Frankie.
He bailed.
He darts in and out.
He does. He's a busy guy.
Yes. When he comes and goes, I like to envision in my head the Scooby-Doo, how they go out one door and the other and in and out.
Okay. Oh, goodness.
For the record,
Yes.
I only pop out for two reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Are you defending yourself?
I am.
Okay. Do we
I
have
only-
the intro?
I only,
Yes.
yeah, I sent
Okay.
it to Parker. I only pop out if my internet sucks or if I'm recording audio because I can't have you guys on if I'm putting
Gotcha.
audio into my board.
Gotcha.
Right on.
I figure.
John chiming in over on YouTube this morning. I'm with you. I've seen the condition of the inside of some food delivery cars. Food pickup is the only way to go. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to pick it up. It's not
We
sitting
have-
in somebody's car. It's not kid's not rooting through your bag.
We deliver a lot. I would love to be able to do a pickup. We just don't have. Yeah.
Frank, I just listened to the intro.
He
Nice.
couldn't get through a couple of takes because he was
I know.
laughing so hard because I put no context into any of it.
Nice.
You
I just said
gave
record
him a
this
list
line.
of things to cut. Yeah.
Yeah, I said, here's the line. Do it.
That's funny.
Lovely.
A rule with an iron fist.
Yeah. Do you want that to be the bump or
No,
no?
no.
Okay.
I want them to call for it
Okay.
Okay.
because it's really short. It's not like a segment intro.
Yep. Yeah. I thought.
Just that way it's short so we can like play around with it.
So do you want us to do the text to win word and
Yes.
then be like, and now we have, well, we'll say stuff you need to know, but
Correct.
okay. Works for me. I didn't bother to look at gas prices this morning when I was driving to see if there was a jump.
Let me give you a hint. It's a lot.
Mhm.
Normally I like pay attention in the morning, but I was not paying attention this morning. was thinking. I wonder if we'll ever get to a time when the morning news isn't led with stories of pictures and photos and video of gas pumps.
Not for a while.
Every time I look up, it's a gas pump or it's Trump.
Yeah, I'm done with both. I'm see the latter more so than the former.
Yes, this is true. And then sometimes I'll see something happening in the Middle East, but now I'm watching people sign a big rock.
And on that note, 10 seconds. We're back.
All right.
Wisconsin wakes up here. Back to Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
7:06 right now. Thank you so much for joining us this morning on the Civic Media Network. My name is Jamie Martinson.
Hey, good morning. I'm Brian Noonan. You can always get a hold of the show, 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. That's the phone number. That's the text line. But you don't want to use that text line now. You want to get your Civic Media app out because it is time for the first word of the day in the Break into Spring multi-state text to win contest. That's a mouthful. What it means is you're going to text a word on using your app and you are going to qualify for a chance to win $200 today or an unbelievable grand prize that we will give away after the end of the week, Jamie, which includes what?
Oh, this is a good one. It is a new mattress set courtesy of Verlo. It is about almost a $1,400 value. That's going to include your Queen V3 Plush medium mattress. You're going to get your set of sheets. You're going to get a mattress pad protector to fit and 2 of those queen size active dough pillows. So a very nice grand prize. And so I think without further ado, we should probably give the word that people need to text. I will give you the honors this first go around.
Oh, well,
morning.
thank you so much. The word is check. Check. C-H-E-C-K. 5 letters today. Don't panic. Check. Like check your text messages. C-H-E-C-K. Check is the word. You'll have until 8 o'clock to use that. And then be listening throughout the rest of the day because the word changes every couple hours and you can enter more than once for your chance to win. Oh, here we go.
Oh,
People
there we go.
texting in already. Remember, you have to use the Civic Media app, which you can download anywhere for free. So get there and do that. So we will remind you a few more times, but the word for this hour is check. C-H-E-C-K. Check your spelling if you have big thumbs like me.
Our listeners are always right on top of this. You guys are awesome. So keep those texts coming. And without further ado, I'm so excited to hear this.
Yeah.
Because we've got some headlines, which means it's time for stuff you need to know.
It's a wake-up call in more ways than one. Time for some you need to know.
Well, we can't say that, but the big
Well, we
voice guy
can,
who gets bleeped
but we can say it once.
Please don't.
Which is fine. Why, Parker? You don't know where the dump button is?
Oh, I know where it is. I just I worry.
Well,
All
get
right.
ready. All right, let's start things off. Governor Evers signed a bill that shores up food share, but, it also bans that sugary food. Wisconsin will ban food share or SNAP recipients from using benefits to buy candy and soft drinks under a new bipartisan law signed by Governor Evers. The law also includes funding and staffing for the state to meet new federal requirements, which shift more costs and rules onto the states. To enforce the ban, the state must get federal approval and create a system to track which foods are eligible for purchase. Supporters say the change promotes healthier eating, while critics argue that it limits personal choice and could affect people who rely on certain foods. I will put myself in the latter column. I don't think limiting people's choice is a good move. The governor also didn't think it was a good move, but because of everything else that goes with the federal government and the strings they have put on the funding, it kind of forced his hand.
Absolutely. In other headlines, if you've been paying attention to the plane crash at LaGuardia that happened earlier this week, there's some updates. A runway warning system failed to sound an alarm moments before that Air Canada jet and that fire truck collided while the plane was landing at New York's LaGuardia Airport, according to federal investigators. National Transportation Safety Board Chairwoman Jennifer Hamendi said during a news conference that the system didn't work as intended because the fire truck did not have a transponder. While the NTSB hasn't recommended that vehicles on airport grounds have transponders, they should, according to Hamendi. Investigators don't know yet whether the two people in the fire truck heard the control tower's frantic last-second warnings to stop before pulling into the plane's path, according to the chairwoman.
Wow. And to paraphrase Obi-Wan Kenobi, the hypocrisy is strong in this one. President Trump voted in Tuesday's Florida State House special election by mail. That's right, even as he suggested on Monday that mail-in voting means mail-in cheating. This is a quote from the president. It was brought to my attention today that we're the only country that does mail-in voting, he said at a roundtable in Memphis. He went on to say, mail-in voting means mail-in cheating. I call it mail-in cheating, and we got to do something about it. But I'm going to vote first, so I'm going to go run that. According to Palm Beach County records, Trump voted in the special election for House District 87, which includes his Mar-a-Lago residence, which we reported earlier has now flipped to a Democrat. So he mailed his ballot in early. It was mailed earlier this month. Somebody mailed it for him. I don't know if he knows where a mailbox would be. But Trump also voted by mail in the primary for the election in January. Weird, isn't it? Trump has repeatedly questioned the veracity of voting by mail, claiming without evidence that it's a significant source of election fraud. He has made the elimination of no-excuse mail voting a top priority through the Save America Act. It's good enough for me, but not for thee, I think he has that tattooed on his chest because, man, oh man, you couldn't, if you were trying to write a dictionary definition of hypocrisy, you couldn't write it better than this last story.
Well, and let's be clear. I mean, he even in the days when he has been so against any sort when he's talked about election fraud, when he has talked so much about all of the fraud in the election, this is not his first time doing a mail-in voting, as you rightly pointed out. He's done it in multiple elections, and it's always worked for him because he's always in Florida, but he's still registered to vote in New York. So just in case anybody's wondering why and how that's working out in his favor. Again, he can do it. The rest of us should not be allowed to, though. It's okay.
Right. Because it's, and again, just, sometimes I know we're repeating, but it's sometimes you have to repeat.
It's worth repeating.
It's like when kids are learning how to do so. You repetition. Yes, there has been no proof of any kind of fraud.
Right.
So he won't stop. But we're not going to put up with it. Every time he says it, we're going to remind you that there is no fraud. Very, very less than 0.1%.
Yeah, it's so minuscule. And let's also be clear: every accusation that he has made that has been taken to the courts has been proven false by the courts. So they haven't been able to find anything at this particular point. And when you relitigate something that many times and you still haven't found anything, I mean, give it up for his tenacity, though.
Well, what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So if you want to go that way, I think we know. We also know here in Wisconsin and across the country and across the globe probably, farming is a tough business. We talk about it all the time, that what farmers are going through, and now they've been dealing with these tariffs. So it's very hard. Well, more bad news for farmers. The USDA is cutting hundreds of millions of dollars from a program that helped farmers, especially new and underserved ones, buy and keep their land. The program funded by the American Rescue Plan, had about $300 million set aside for around 50 projects across the country, which sounds great. Funding was meant to last 5 years. That started in 2023. Well, these projects were run by nonprofits, tribal governments, and local groups to help farmers with things like access to land, loans, markets, planning for the future. Focused heavily on farmers who have historically faced barriers, including black farmers, indigenous farmers, immigrants, veterans, and other underrepresented groups. But now it is canceling the funding because it believes the program relies too much on, here comes, buckle in for the buzzwords of the day. It's almost like Pistol Pete wrote this because everybody hates diversity, equity, and inclusion. So because of that, the whole program is based on underserved people. There's no way to help underserved people without having diversity. It's part of the definition. So stop with this DEI garbage. But that's the justification they used. So farmers, sorry, but we tried to help all farmers, not just white farmers, and so that makes us woke.
Right. And officials say that they are reviewing grants to make sure that they align with this new policy focus on merit-based and colorblind funding, as they like to call it. Now,
how do you help certain groups by being colorblind? You can't. It's the antithesis of what the program is set up for.
You know, and when you look at what farming is and how it's changing and evolving, like think about Wisconsin for just a moment, right? When we talk about these DEI policies, the growth of women in agriculture, just here alone in the state, is overwhelming. Almost over 37,000 female producers. About 35% of farmers in the state are female right now. And they're one of the fastest growing groups, especially in areas like your organic and your specialty farming. So when you roll back programs that are meant to help underrepresented farmers, that's also going to include women. And
well, they have no problem rolling back things for women.
This is true. We know this. We've seen this happen time and time again. But it's just another example of, you know, here in Wisconsin, I look specifically because we are such an agricultural state. The number of minority farmers in this state is only in the few hundreds. But it is growing among other groups like your females. And so if you're going to roll back these DEI programs in order to make it easier for them, then you're essentially taking away areas for them to expand their farms. And the other part about this is that I think is really interesting is farming is no longer, when we think about it, right, we think of cows and pigs and growing the crops. And that's not exactly what it is, especially here in Wisconsin. I mean, you think about the fact that we have our cranberry farms. There are specialty farms that grow things like that raise alpacas for the wool. We have our lavender farms in this state. So this actually undiversifies, which I know is the goal, but it also undiversifies a lot of what we're able to do. And it takes away a large part of the economy as well that we are starting to see and grow here in the state of Wisconsin.
And maybe we wouldn't need these kind of programs if underserved factions of society had been taken care of in the first place. But it's maddening, just like everything else. There's nothing that comes out of this administration that makes you feel better about yourself. There's nothing, going back to what I said earlier, there's nothing that comes out of this administration that really helps people, just regular citizens. And as much as we rely on agriculture to cut this because of, again, it's this culture war thing that they blame the Democrats for all the time, but they are the party that hangs on to this stuff nonstop. It's stop. There aren't transgender people going into bathrooms to molest people. There's just because you give an indigenous farmer a loan because their community has not been served, or you give a female farmer or a farmer of color a loan, doesn't mean you're taking it away from everybody else. You got to stop with this culture war stuff all the time because it's tiring, it's lazy, and nobody is buying it anymore except for your dyed-in-the-wool cult followers.
But I think that's just it. It's always about creating some sort of them against us kind of mentality. And that's what this administration did during the first presidency. And that's what they've wanted to do and have been successful at doing, especially among a lot of their more fervent voters.
There are a lot of aggrieved people out there. Everybody's got somebody who's coming after them and keeping them down. Maybe you're down because bad luck, bad planning. It's not always somebody else's fault, and sometimes it's out of your control too. Things just happen. It's not always somebody else's fault. All right, no soapbox for at least till the bottom of the hour, because we're going to swipe or stay after this on the Civic Media Network.
All right.
All right.
Frank, I watched Tommy Boy the other day.
You did?
I did.
I almost just spit my coffee out.
How'd you like it?
That was
Thoughts?
fine. Yeah, that was good.
Fine. Fat
was
guy
funny.
in a little
It's his
coat.
first watch, Brian. It's going to take at least 2 more before he's quoting it.
All right.
Yeah, I was also not as engaged as I needed to be.
Oh,
Probably.
see.
Richard.
What are you doing?
What? Is that her boyfriend down there? I wonder if he plays for the Yankees. Shut up, Richard. Plenty of people go to school for 7 years. Yeah, they're called doctors.
Oh, yeah, it was solid.
Oh, wait. Got somebody pointing out ginseng in Wisconsin is a major industry. Yes, you're right. I'm sorry I overlooked that one.
Ginseng.
Mm-hmm. To see what this link was that this person sent. Gary and Madison is.
Yeah, I saw.
I answered it.
Yeah. Sorry, sir. That's a no.
I handled it.
Frank, we got good ones today.
We always have good ones on Daybreak with Brian Noonan and Jamie Martinson. Parker,
Well done.
thank you for asking such a great question, because I think that's what this country is founded on. People being able to ask great questions in this great country.
Yeah, so anyway, let's keep the press out of the Pentagon.
Holy cow.
All right, got 15 seconds.
Jesus, Gary.
Let's break out of the bubble and see what's happening out there in pop culture. It's Swipe or Stay on Daybreak.
7:22 right now. Thank you so much for joining us today on the Civic Media Network. It is time to put away the political headlines for just a few moments and talk about something that has nothing to do with politics, and we will always take that moment. Our producer, Frank, joins us. It's another edition of Swipe or Stay. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Parker just asked me if we have great stories for today's Swipe or Stay. To which
yesterday
I say
you undersold it. Yesterday you were like, oh, they're fine.
Did you think they were good?
No, we thought they were good, but you said at the beginning of the segment, they're fine.
You pretty much add them. You were like,
Yeah, you didn't build it up yesterday. So Parker's question is apt based on your past performance.
It's a valid question.
It is.
Are today's stories good? I'm going to let you guys decide.
Okay.
We'll put it that way.
Nice tease, Frank. Wow. Good. I like it.
Swipe or Stay. If you've never listened before, I'm going to give Brian and Jamie some vague pop culture headlines. They're going to have to decide whether to stay or swipe on to the next one. In the case that they can't make up their minds, Parker will be our tiebreaker. Let's move on to story numero uno. Stephen Colbert has a new job.
oh, I know this one. We'll stay. I'll stay anyway.
Yeah, I'll stay. I like Colbert.
So Stephen Colbert is moving on after his last show on CBS and is set to become a co-writer for a new Lord of the Rings movie.
Really? Well, I know
Yes.
he's a big Lord of the Ring. Today also National Tolkien Reading Day. Sidebar.
Is it really?
It is.
Yes.
I'm going to be honest. I've never seen a movie. Not one. I've never read a book.
Oh, you just hurt Parker.
Oh.
My goodness. Parker is hurting genuinely
Parker can
right
finally yell at me for not watching
how
a movie.
about it?
Yeah, I understand though, because it is a major time investment.
Those movies are long too. I went and saw the movies in the theater when they came out, but they are long.
Real quick sidebar, and I know I
Yes.
shouldn't do this, but this is a good story.
Yeah, it's your bit.
I'm reclaiming my time, Brian.
All right.
It's such a time investment that on my flight home from Paris, there was a man in front of me in line to board the plane, mansplaining to a woman in front of him about the Lord of the Rings movies and the order and why they're good and why she should watch them and how it will take up her entire plane ride.
Nerd.
And I'll tell you another thing. They're the characters are very intricate, and Sauron is evil. And so, what about Gollum? He's very fun.
Great work, Parker.
At least it wasn't aimed at me this time.
It wasn't.
Oh,
I think that might be a first.
That was groundbreaking.
That
Some
might be a
anonymous
first.
man in the airport.
But yeah, this will be Lord of the Rings, Shadow of the Past, and this will come after Lord of the Rings, The Hunt for Gollum, which is already in production. Peter Jackson, who wrote and directed the first trilogy, will also be working on these movies.
Very cool.
I know, this is like
Colbert.
his dream come true, so good for Colbert.
Yeah.
All right, we have a former SNL cast member throwing shade at the new cast.
It's old news. I'm going to swipe.
Okay. Steve Carell says an A-list actor told him not to do The Office.
Oh, interesting. Stay.
Yeah, I'll stay. That's bad advice.
Horrible advice. So we almost didn't have Steve Carell as Michael Scott, the titular character in the U.S. version of The Office. The fun part is his friend Paul Rudd was the one to tell him to not audition for the U.S. version.
Why was Paul Rudd auditioning for it?
He was not. So Steve Carell said on a podcast recently that Rudd pulled him aside and said, "Don't do it, man. Don't audition. There is no way." And the reason he said that is because he felt that Steve Carell could never live up to the performance by Ricky Gervais in the UK version of The Office.
Valid
Interesting.
concern.
Yeah.
Did not pan out that way, but
No.
But also, and I'm not a huge fan of The Office, so take that for what it's worth. But I do know that it ran a super long time, I think, during my entire formative years. And the UK version's only like 3 seasons long.
yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Well, that's most UK shows are not very long. Couple seasons.
Did you watch the UK version, Brian?
I made it through the first 2 seasons, and then I bailed. I'm
You're like,
one of
"Meh."
those. I was like, all right, I get it.
Did you watch the US version?
Yes.
Okay. See?
Yeah.
So would you say the US version was better?
Frank, I'm American. What do you think? I'm
That's
gonna
right.
say?
That's right. We did not throw
I
tea
love
into
this
the harbor.
country, Frank.
Don't get it twisted. We have a lot of comedians in the news today. We have a comedian taking aim at late night television.
Swipe.
I want to hear this. Parker, you're up to debate.
I'm swiping.
Wow.
I knew it.
2 swipes. All right. We do have
I
a
only
popular
had 3 stories.
sweating. This is the last one, guys, so take that for what it's worth. We have a popular spinoff that premiered this past weekend with much success.
I guess
Stay.
we have to stay.
You're staying now. Back to UK versus US
Oh, that's
television.
right.
Yes.
Saturday Night Live UK premiered this past weekend with Tina Fey as its first host. It's the exact same format as the American version, including a monologue, skits, weekend update, and musical guests. The only difference is all curse words are allowed.
Oh,
Did
I'm
any
in.
of-
TV.
Did,
Yeah.
did you guys watch it?
I did not.
I have
It's
not yet.
awesome.
Is
Really?
it? Okay.
It's
All right.
really good. I think, one, they haven't done it yet in the UK, so you have so many fresh ideas to play off of.
Yeah.
Like, they did a skit with a bunch of, like, UK icons at dinner, like Princess Diana and Freddie Mercury. So it was, like I said, there's so many things that they can do, and the fact that they can just say whatever they want.
I was surprised they hadn't done it before. I mean, 50 years of Saturday Night Live in the United States, and you would have thought that it would have rubbed off sooner than later. But
well, it's like
better late than never.
UK SNL is like the In-N-Out rumors. Like, there's a new rumor every year that In-N-Out's coming this way, and I feel like SNL UK was like that for years, except they finally did it. Parker's giving me the wrap-up sign. That's Swiper Stay.
Thank you, Frank. Always a pleasure. We do it every day at 7:22:30. If you want to be exact, if not, somewhere around 7:20. It is the Civic Media Network.
All right.
Brian wanted to hear number 4, so Brian, I'm going to be nice.
Thanks, Frank.
And I'm going to tell you number 4.
Or you could just, you know what? Just send it to me.
Ooh, if you had to,
so they can't
send
hear
it
it.
to you
They
in chat.
Yeah, they didn't want to. They didn't want to hear it.
I was gonna say, I'm gonna
If
take out
you
my
had
headphones. I
to
don't wanna
guess
hear
which comedian took aim at late night, who would it be?
Chevy Chase.
It is not Chevy Chase.
Okay.
Anybody else want to guess?
No, I have
Movie
no
star
it. Dave
comedian.
Chappelle.
Oh,
Brian, you can re-guess.
movie star comedian.
I use star loosely.
Oh, okay. Well, then that changes it. Chris Kattan.
No.
No,
more than
Rob
that.
Schneider.
Nope. More than that.
All right, I'm
Parker,
out.
Jamie,
I got nothing.
I don't know.
it was Vince Vaughn,
Hmm.
who is very much right-wing.
Yeah,
So
that's
I hear.
true.
When was the last time he was on in a movie?
Is that why he doesn't like late night? Because it's all
Well,
left-wing?
Yes.
Well, yes, it is.
We seem to have found the key.
He said it feels like sitting in a class that he didn't want to effing take.
I sat in a lot of movies I didn't want to effing watch.
Wow.
Right.
All right.
Well, good for
With
you,
that,
Vince.
Charles is here, so you
Yes.
can. I'm gonna leave. Charles can come on.
Good morning, Charles. How are you doing?
Good morning, Charles.
Good morning. How are you?
Oh, you're not hearing us? Double. Right. I need to type it then. I'm so smart. Speakers option. I'm gonna just keep talking out loud so I know
That's
if
all
you
right.
can hear
You
me or
keep
not.
doing what you got to do.
Make sure.
If you can hear me, I'm hearing no audio.
Yep.
Okay.
The right speakers. Oh, I don't know if he's even seeing my messages is the other thing. Frank, could you please ping him? Because I am not sure that he's seeing what I'm trying to get to him. Thank you, Frank. And if the speakers are correct, then maybe we'll just have him exit the studio and then re-enter, because for whatever reason that just tends to be a hiccup sometimes with folks. Although never with us, I notice, which is odd. Always with guests.
Mm-hmm.
We got 1 minute here. Frank, if you would, if we don't get the speakers figured out within about a minute or so, let's please have him call in. And you have that direct line is probably best. Although it doesn't really matter if it's the standard number or the studio direct line. All right, we got 10 seconds here. I'm going to remove him from the stage just so that we don't hear him. Oh, never mind. Okay.
Local voices, statewide impact. It's Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us today on the Civic Media Network. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan, and we want to remind you got about 25 minutes to enter the Break into Spring multi-state text-to-win contest here on Civic Media. We are giving away $200 cash a day. It might be a check. I don't know how it comes, gift card. But it's money. It's real money. You'll get that. And then you are qualified if you win, or even if you enter, you're qualified to win the grand prize, which is a new mattress set from Verlo. It's a queen-size mattress. You get the sheets, you get the mattress protector, you get 2 active dough pillows. That's worth almost $1,400. So do that. And Jamie, the word has not changed since we did it at 7 o'clock, correct?
It has not changed. And so get your Civic Media app pulled out because you can only enter through that, which is a little reminder that even if you don't have it available to you right now, you need it for the rest of today and for the rest of the week because you only have a couple of more days to qualify for this contest. But your word this hour is check. 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 That is the word that you need to text us before 8 o'clock. So you have about 24 minutes to get us that word if we want to be exact in how that's going to go down. And you can qualify for, as Brian said, some cash or maybe even that grand prize mattress set. But again, your word until 8 o'clock is check. CHECK.
And while we're waiting, we're going to talk to Charles Franklin about the new Marquette Law School poll that came out yesterday. But while we're waiting and in a generous mood, we need to tell you this too, Jamie. I'm excited about this because tomorrow's opening day. Now,
it is.
Tomorrow we don't have opening day tickets, but tomorrow we are going to give away 2 pairs of Brewers tickets for. We're not going to tell you what game. We know what game. We're not going to tell you until tomorrow. But it is a good game. So we're going to give you give away 2 pairs of tickets. We're going to do that with another game. Frank has concocted a game that sounds fantastic. We're going to
test it out later today.
We actually have to do it. It's so good we have to do a rehearsal because Frank doesn't trust us to just do it for the first time on the air.
That's probably for the best.
Yeah. And these are not, I mentioned this yesterday, these are not schlub seats.
No.
These are not budget-friendly seats. You are sitting. No. Well, you've sat in these seats before.
Yes,
I am not bougie. I am a man of the people.
They are the club seats at AmFam Field, which means you're going to be elevated a little bit, and you're going to be able to see the entire field from a little bit of a higher level, which is really, really fun. You get, the nice backing and all of that good stuff. And these are also the really great seats that if you have that MLB Ballpark app, which you will need to win tickets tomorrow too, by the way. So that's a little reminder to sign up for that. Okay. Remember the email and all of that good stuff, because that's how we'll transfer you those tickets if you happen to be a winner tomorrow. But you can sit down, you can order some food from the ballpark, and they'll bring it right to the seats. So it's a very nice way to watch a game and watch the Brewers at AmFam Field. Be ready for that tomorrow.
Yes, and speaking of the Brewers, we're going to talk to Marty Ronsky at 8:35. She is the COO for the Brewers. A lot of new stuff coming up, and we will answer some of your pressing questions, hopefully, but mostly tell you all the new things that are coming this season at AmFam Field. Parker, what's the situation? I keep trying to find some updates in our chat, and I'm not seeing any, so you're going to have to actually tell us what's going on.
I'm not 100% sure right now.
Charles, can you hear us?
Yeah, I've got you now.
Yay.
Can you hear me?
Perfect. We
yes,
can.
we can. We were having a few technical issues there, so we were letting everybody work through that. But we're so glad that you're here. Of course, we are joined this morning by Charles Franklin. He is the professor of law and public policy and the director of the Marquette Law School poll. You had a new poll that dropped yesterday about the Trump presidency, about the Supreme Court races. And Charles, we'll just dive right in here. You actually joined us just a few weeks ago when your February poll came out. And at that time, about 2/3 of voters were undecided. Now, here we are in March. Nearly half still haven't made up their minds. Is that number surprising to you, given how close we are to this current election for the Supreme Court justices?
Yeah, it's a higher number undecided than what we normally see 2 weeks out from an election. As we said in February, people have been slow to tune into this race. However, they have begun to tune in between February and March. Attention to the race went up. That undecided fell from 2/3 undecided to about half. Still, that's a lot of undecideds at this point. But people are beginning to tune in to the race. It just doesn't come close to comparing to where we were a year ago in that massive spending of the 2025 race. At that point in February last year, 39% had heard or read a lot about the election. This year, even now in March, it's only 12% that have heard a lot. That's double. It was only 6% a month ago. And about 50% say they've heard a little about the race. So we're not completely in the dark about it. Still, there's a big difference between $100 million being spent in last year's race, and I don't know what it'll end up being, but it's a whole lot less this year.
Charles, is it just the awareness of the race that's driving this indecision? And also, is it split the indecision by parties? Or is one party more indecisive than others?
Yeah, if we look at all registered voters, then Republicans are kind of noticeably less decided than Democratic voters. But if we narrow it down to likely voters, which I think makes sense 2 weeks out is to look at likely voters, then we have a little more indecision for Republicans, but not a lot more. It's 43% undecided among Democrats. It's 48% undecided for Republicans with likely voters. Excuse me. So a 5-point difference. Where we really see a big difference is in enthusiasm and certainty of voting. Democrats have a substantial advantage in being sure they're going to vote. 77% of Democrats saying they're certain they're going to vote. Only 59% of Republicans do. Now, as I warned people yesterday, it is still 2 weeks out. This number can change. Republicans can tune in and turn out at a higher rate, and that would tighten the margin in the race. On the other hand, where it stands right now, Democrats have a significant turnout advantage. They're also more enthusiastic about the election. They also are more likely to say the race is important. So all of these things point to why Democrats have been so successful in April elections for the last several years.
Charles, do you think at this stage, when we're talking about the Supreme Court races, and we'll talk about the gubernatorial race in just a few moments, but do you think voters are just wanting more information at this point? I mean, it's only 2 weeks out, or are the campaigns just not breaking through like they did because of the spending last go around?
I think some of it is not breaking through. You know, for folks like us and the audience out there, we pay attention to this stuff all the time. But for a fair number of people, and especially for spring elections, they find out that an election's coming on when a commercial interrupts their favorite TV show. They find out inadvertently rather than as a result of going out and seeking information about the race. So when you have huge spending like last year, or even in the election before that, more people become aware of the race inadvertently and then pay some attention to it. This year, with that much lower ad volume, I think less of that has been taking place.
We're talking to Charles Franklin, professor of law and public policy and the director of the Marquette Law School poll. Charles, one of the criteria, for lack of a better term, that I'm always interested in is the favorability rating. So how are these two Supreme Court candidates doing as far as favorability, and what goes into the favorability rating?
It's a simple question. Here's a list of names, and in the case of the court candidates, we preface it by saying, here are people who are running for the state Supreme Court. Okay. So we're letting people know that that's what these names mean. Do you have a favorable or an unfavorable view, or haven't you heard enough to have an opinion yet?
Oh, okay.
And on that question, stick with likely voters, 46% say they haven't formed an opinion yet. So it's still quite a high number. On the favorability for each of them, there's a net favorability of -5 for Lazar, meaning 5 points more unfavorable than favorable. For Chris Taylor, it's a 5-point positive favorability rating. So the result is about a 10-point gap between them in favorability. Looking at this back to October, both of them were just a point or two net negative in October. Taylor has become positive over time. Lazar has trended negative, but neither of them are hugely negative. And again, about half are failing to have an opinion, saying they haven't heard enough about either one of them.
Charles, let's take a look at the governor's race. Even some of the leading candidates are still largely unknown, especially when we look at the Democratic pool. How much does name recognition matter at this stage, knowing that, we don't have primaries until August, and then we're looking at midterms not until November?
Yeah, I think it doesn't matter in one sense. We are an awful long ways from August and the primary. Also, whereas attention to the court race did tick up some over the last month, attention to the governor's race is completely flat. It has not changed from where it was in February, with just 8% having heard a lot about the governor's race. So that's a perfect example of how folks genuinely are not tuned in to the governor's race yet. I think the paradox here is that there are a couple of candidates that are fairly well known. Mandela Barnes has a name ID, meaning people recognize the name and have an opinion, just a little over 50%. And Tom Tiffany on the Republican side, right at 50%. Sarah Rodriguez is the third most recognized candidate, but her name ID is only in the 30s. And then all of the other candidates are in the 20s or the teens. So I think the flip side to being unknown is everybody's on a pretty level playing field, with the exception of those two or maybe three candidates. So there's still room to break out, because nobody is particularly well established outside of, the current and former lieutenant governor and a current member of Congress.
Charles, one of the things I found interesting, and we only got a couple minutes left, another finding in the poll shows that the job approval for the president had dipped from February, and the net approval hit its lowest point for either of the terms. But then I read something that you said that this was kind of misleading, because overall his favorability is not down. Can you explain that?
No, I think his favorability is down. The main point I was trying to make, well, there are 2 points. One is he's at 42% approval. That's down from where he started in office. Mm-hmm. His net approval has gone from net -3, more unfavorable than favorable, to now a net -14. And that -14 is the lowest he has ever been, including in his first term or his second term. So it is definitely down. Now, there were a couple of polls in the first term that he hit 40 or 41% approval, but his disapproval wasn't as high back then. And so that's why the net is the worst ever. The approval is not quite the worst. I think the other thing that I said, and I say repeatedly, is headlines like to write that his approval is cratering, collapsing, abysmal. It's down, and it's important that it's down, but I don't think we should exaggerate how rapidly it's declining.
Perfect. Well, Charles, we appreciate your time. Charles Franklin is the professor of law and public policy, and he is the director of the Marquette Law School poll. Always enlightening to talk to you, Charles. Thanks for your time again today. Have a great one. When we come back, there is problems at the supermarket. We'll get to it on the Civic Media Network.
All right, we're clear.
Thank you so much, Charles.
Thanks, Charles.
All right.
Yeah, I kept hopping between the two chats, and I couldn't see if we had him or not.
No,
it's all right.
Fine.
I know you were hustling to try to get him.
Well, there was nothing. Frank, I'm gonna message a suggestion for future. Let's make sure that guests know about the private chat feature in StreamYard.
Yeah.
Because that is my only line of direct communication with them if they can't hear us.
What ended up being the problem?
I just had him reset it, basically.
Okay.
I just said I said bounce off, come back through, and if you still can't hear us, call us.
Okay.
But then he was just sitting there.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
And then you called for him, and he appeared, and then he
I didn't
emailed.
call. I was just calling for
I know.
info.
Yeah,
Well,
and then
and so,
he emailed. He responded to my email after you guys brought him back on and said, "I can hear you now," and I was like, "Great."
Okay. Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah, I would have if I knew that he could hear us. I would have brought him up.
No, that's
well,
fine.
yeah.
But if I don't know, I don't want to bring him up because that's going to sound really clunky. So
We made it work.
Clunkier than me going, hey, what's going on? Do we have him or not?
yes,
Hey, what's going
actually.
on? What's happening?
Hey, folks, we're up to 82 followers.
Oh yeah, we are.
Mark and Prairie to Sac saying he voted early yesterday for the liberal-leaning judge, Chris Taylor. Met her years ago and had conversations with her when she was a state legislator.
Did Mark camp out to be the first one at the poll?
I don't know.
We need to get Mark like some swag or something for the show,
should.
just to
Been
have
to a
him
few
go
of our
around.
event- Yeah, he was at a couple of our fall events. You okay?
Yeah. I prop up my phone on the little shelf here.
Did it fall?
And it fell down. All right, we got 15 seconds here.
Fairly solid and better than expected. It's Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
7:52 right now. Thank you for joining us this morning on the Civic Media Network. Going to be a gorgeous day as we get near 70 in lots of areas of the state. I think we can take that, especially as we're getting ready for opening day baseball, which is very exciting. And also would be remiss if we didn't remind you that you have about 8 more minutes to jump into this round of the Break into Spring multi-state text to win contest.
That's right. The word is check, C-H-E-C-K. So get that in. Use your Civic Media app to text the word check, C-H-E-C-K. You have till 8 o'clock. But don't panic because new words will come throughout the day, and you can enter as many times as you want. Chance to win $200 for today, and then you're qualified for the big grand prize of the Verlo Queen mattress set with a mattress pad, pillows, sheets, the whole kit and caboodle, and those are you'll be qualified once you enter. So do that at your leisure. But don't take too much leisure because you had 6.5 minutes. Yeah, 7 minutes, 6.5 minutes to get the word check in, C-H-E-C-K. you know Roundy's. Roundy's owns Pick and Save, Metro Markets. They're the big corporate umbrella for the grocery stores. Well, Roundy's is in trouble. They are being sued by the federal government for allegedly firing a nursing mother who requested to keep drinking water at her workstation. And that sounds very Dickensian, doesn't it? It's a, please, sir, may I have some water? But that's basically what happened. So a former employee worked at a Metro Market store in Shorewood Hills in 2024. Now, according to the lawsuit from the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, or as I like to call them, the EEOC, because I love brevity, the lawsuit alleges that Roundy's Supermarkets, which operates, as I said, Pick and Save and Metro, violated the Pregnant Workers Fairness Act. That sounds like more woke DEI to me. That act ensures that pregnant workers receive reasonable accommodations needed to protect their health and remain employed. That's according to a statement from the acting EEOC General Counsel. Well, the lawsuit went in Monday, and Jamie, the details of this are incredible. I'll just say that the mother requested management to allow her to her break every 4 hours so she could pump her breast milk. She also requested management allow her to have access to drinking water at her workstation in order to, quote, maintain hydration and milk supply. And how did that work out for her, Jamie?
Well, not so well, because the manager at the store allegedly approved that request for the break. They offered her 2 locations in which she could take her break, a manager's office or a workroom at the store. Now, according to the lawsuit, those locations weren't suitable, though, for pumping breast milk. The manager's office was difficult to access. It was frequently locked, and the workroom was dirty and lacked any sort of privacy. The lawsuit also says that the manager also did not grant her request to keep water at her workstation. The manager did allow her to store water at the manager's office, though, according to the lawsuit, which doesn't really seem convenient or like she's able to do her job if she has to move away from her workstation to get water. But
didn't we already establish the manager's office was locked?
Right. What do I know, though? In July of 2024, the lawsuit said that the store manager saw the former employee with a bottle of water near her workstation in the bakery, asked her to remove it, but the mother explained that adequate hydration was medically necessary to maintain milk supply, according to the lawsuit. The manager said it was company policy that prevented employees from keeping water at or near bakery workstations. Now, the lawsuit said that the human resources manager for the company told the former employee that if she wanted to have a water bottle at her station, she'd have to sign a release of her medical records so they could communicate with her healthcare provider about this request. It's water. The former employee didn't actually sign the release and cited the invasion of her privacy and informed the human resources manager that she was considering filing a complaint with the state regarding the lack of access to drinking water and the impact it was having on her infant's health. Well, a few days later, wouldn't you know it, she was placed on unpaid suspension after a manager saw her with her water bottle at her workstation. She was later fired by the company in August of 2024. How much harder could we make it for working mothers?
All right, let me ask this before I weigh in.
Okay.
I want to try to get, and you're the only woman on the show. Is hydration, constant hydration, that crucial? And I ask this in all seriousness because I have a number of thoughts, but I want to temper them with fact.
I believe it is. Now, I will be honest and say that both of my boys, which is going to be highly controversial for some people, were formula fed and bottle fed because of my health issues that I had.
So was our daughter.
To have them. My kids turned out fine. By the way, everybody does what they have to do. But I do have friends who have been adamantly have had breastfed babies, and they drink. I drink almost like 96 ounces of water a day. I have a couple of friends because when they're breastfeeding, they actually drink almost a gallon of water a day. So I'm going to say yes would be my answer.
Yes, and I think, hydration is important for everybody. I'm wondering if it's like gerbil bottle need, where it has to be hanging over you all the time. Because here's the thing. I fully support this woman's right to have water. Yeah. I also know in a workplace with OSHA, there are, if you're in the bakery, do you want a water bottle right by a mixing bowl? Do you want a water? Sure. Can the water be in the back somewhere where it's 2 steps, 3 steps away where you can grab a quick drink? I don't think you need And again, if you are an OBGYN or a woman who is breastfeeding, please correct me. I don't believe you need an IV drip of fluids constantly to keep you hydrated. So while it doesn't sound like Roundy's did enough to make it easy for her, it also sounds like maybe there were some accommodations that she could have made, or there was a compromise that could have been reached before it got to this point.
It feels like there should have been some sort of compromise, and it feels like neither side was really, to me, as I read this, obviously not there to have to know all the ins and outs, but it feels like there was more that could have been done from both sides, and they both could have budged, maybe just a smidge, right?
Because we also know there are workers who a sip of water should take 0.6 seconds, and some workers are going to want to sit down to drink their water, and every sip is a break, and that's not acceptable. When we come back, there's more as you need to know as we move on to the final hour. If you're listening on WMDX, see ya, I guess. This is the Civic Media Network.
Stuff you need to know. John, to answer your question over on the YouTube chat, any plans to chat about the upcoming No Kings rallies? Yes.
As the week goes on, we definitely will.
Let's see. We also had Tom in Hartford asking a question on the text line.
It's about the Supreme Court debate.
To be honest, I believe who is airing that? Usually, if it is a local, somebody that is not like a Wisconsinite, PBS, we cannot air those. We don't usually, most other networks and entities don't get rights. Yeah, it's on WISN, so no, other locations will not have rights for that. I'm going to run to the bathroom.
Time to ask Parker anything.
Oh,
that's right.
Ask away.
Parker, who's the biggest diva on the show?
Oh, the biggest diva on the show? Surely Frank. I mean, come on.
I believe it. I believe it.
I mean, did you hear his sassy answer about the
He really got bent out of shape when you asked him if they were good. And it's true. Yesterday he downplayed it.
He did.
So how are we not to know that he's going to downplay it every day?
I expect nothing from the best. But
hey.
Nothing.
Speak of El
Diablo. Best is right here, baby.
See, he's a diva.
That's right. Someone has to be on this show, damn it. And no, now that it's over with, I'll tell the live streamers, today's stories were rough. There was nothing going on.
Were you really down to your last story?
Dude. And that story was sitting there. That story was there just in case we need some filler. I was like, oh my God, I think we have to go to this.
Well, it worked out fine. It was fun.
Provocative. You better hope for a big day of pop culture news today, though.
Yeah, here's the deal with pop culture news. If there's an event happening, expect there to be no news because all reporters are focusing on the event. So like when the Oscars, when the Oscars happen or the Grammys or the Emmys, all the news is just here's who won. Right. That's it. There's nothing else.
Yeah.
The Hannah Montana anniversary was yesterday.
I know.
I think every reporter was covering that.
And you
didn't
know
news.
anything about that.
No.
I've seen the previews now when I turn on the television. I'm like, oh.
I saw one clip of her like waving in a window, and that's it.
I watched it last night.
Did you?
Sorry. I sat on the couch and watched and ate popcorn while my wife watched it last night.
Wow.
And I was told I was not allowed to make any comments.
Okay. That was the very first concert that Molly went to. Debbie took her to see it. So last night I said, oh, are you going to watch this with Molly? I am not going to watch that. All right.
You have to. That's nostalgia.
I don't have to.
No, not you.
No.
Did she watch it?
Frank? No, she's not going to watch it. Molly may watch it. I don't know.
Yeah, Molly's got to watch it.
Because Debbie didn't want to go in the first place, but she took Molly. So when Molly was a kid, 20 years ago, Molly was 8.
I mean, that show, I know we don't have too much time left, but that show was just massive. I know the Disney Channel stars are feuding right now.
Are they?
Are they? I didn't know.
Someone asked.
This is Swipe or Stay.
Yeah.
Someone asked Raven Simone who the Mount Rushmore of child stars were on Disney Channel.
Oh, and Demi Lovato got all involved.
She got involved, and Raven Simone said Miley Cyrus is not a Mount Rushmore, which I completely disagree with.
Oh, no.
I didn't even watch Hannah Montana.
I would say Justin Timberlake, Britney.
Interesting.
Christina, and Hannah Montana. Or Miley Cyrus.
I would say, time check, Parker.
30.
I would say Miley Cyrus. I would say Raven Simone. I would say Christy Carlson Romano.
Yeah, but they're not doing anything anymore.
That wasn't the question.
I know, but part of.
We're talking goats.
Man, this is the show.
This is the show within the show. 10 seconds.
From Lake Superior to Lake Michigan, this is Wisconsin's Morning Conversation. Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 now. You are listening to the Civic Media Network, and if you're in Richland Center, listening on WRCE, or in La Crosse on WLCX, even Wisconsin Rapids on WFHR. We are certainly glad that you are joining us today. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And good morning, I'm Brian Noonan. If you want to get a hold of us, 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. And if you missed out on last hour's big word for the multi-state text-to-win contest, fear not, a new word will come your way after 9 o'clock. So be listening throughout the day for your chances to win. All right, listen, it's the top of the hour. Maybe you've been busy all morning, so now it's time for S You Need to Know.
It's a wake-up call in more ways than one. Time for some you need to know.
All right, well, another day, another lawsuit that Wisconsin is part of. It seems like every day we have one. Wisconsin and 20 other states are suing the federal government to block new USDA rules that tie funding to conditions related to gender identity, women's sports, and immigration. The USDA provides billions in funding for programs like Food Share or SNAP, which helps nearly 700,000 Wisconsinites afford groceries along with support for farmers and research. Well, the lawsuit argues the new conditions are unclear, overly broad, and could force states to adopt federal policies in order to receive money already approved by Congress. State leaders say the policy could put critical funding at risk for food assistance and agriculture programs, calling it an unlawful attempt to use essential funding to push political agendas.
In other headlines this morning, the first Marquette University Law School poll conducted after the U.S. launched attacks on Iran February 28th found 42% of Wisconsin voters approve of the way President Donald Trump is handling his job. That's a 2-point drop from the last Marquette poll conducted between February 11th and February 19th, which found 44% of Wisconsin voters approved of the president's job performance. Trump's net approval rating, calculated by subtracting the favorable percentage from the the unfavorable hit a record low of -14 in this poll. If you joined us last hour, you heard Charles Franklin, who conducts this poll, to get into a little bit of this. You can check out that show over at civicmedia.us if you want to hear more of his comments. Trump had never dipped below -12 throughout polling across his 2 terms. In the February poll, he was at -10.
All right. Yeah, the math confuses me, but Charles lays it all out. So as Jamie said, go to civicmedia.us and you can hear all of that. And finally, the U.S. is expected to deploy thousands of troops from the Army's elite 82nd Airborne Division to the Middle East. Multiple news outlets have reported that, expanding the U.S. military buildup in the region, as the president says his administration is engaged in, quote, very strong talks with Iran. The Pentagon is expected to call up thousands of soldiers from the 82nd Airborne, according to the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, and Reuters. The Times reported the soldiers would be part of a combat brigade. Last week, the U.S. sent thousands of Marines and sailors into the region. The news comes as Trump says the U.S. is engaged in, quote, very good and productive conversations with Iranian leaders that could bring about a complete and total resolution of the hostilities in the Middle East. Iran denied that any negotiations have taken place.
So
once again, we don't know.
Yeah. It's going to be ongoing, as I'm over looking at news headlines this morning, there are about 1,000 U.S. paratroopers that are now also expected to deploy to the Middle East as of this morning.
Well, and the 82nd Airborne is designed to be a behind enemy lines division. So these guys are not. These guys are tough, and they're used for certain purposes, and it seems to be the antithesis, again, of what they're actually saying. If we're in strong talks, why would you be calling up ground forces?
Right.
It doesn't make any sense. And, we'll see what happens, because last week, like we said, we were all worried because the Marines and the sailors were being sent over into the region. Now we're hearing the 82nd Airborne is being deployed. It doesn't seem like we're toward the end, as the administration would want you to believe.
It doesn't feel like there's any sort of de-escalation happening.
Nope.
Even from the very beginning, when asked, the president was very kind of on the fence, you could say, about, well, maybe we'll send troops. Maybe we won't send troops, which is pretty much how he's handled this entire situation since late February. But I think for anybody who's continuing to watch this closely, one of the biggest concerns going in was that this was going to be another long, drawn-out Middle Eastern war. And it certainly doesn't seem like Iran is willing to give up, and it certainly doesn't seem like Israel is ready to give up. And we know that the president made his choice because of Israel. And so here we are, just kind of stuck to see what happens going forward. And that's the unfortunate part for all of us, as we live with those consequences, and now our military starts living with those consequences as well.
Yeah, well, I'm sure he has everything under control, he said with tongue firmly in his cheek. Another lawsuit that this is separate from the headlines and the stuff you need to know, but that was the stuff you need to know. And you need to know this too. Minnesota has filed a lawsuit now against the Trump administration. They want access to evidence tied to 3 shootings by federal officers, including the shootings that caused the deaths of Renee Good and Alex Preddy and the wounding of another man. State leaders say the federal government promised to cooperate, but is now withholding key evidence, preventing Minnesota from conducting its own independent criminal investigations. The administration argues the state may not have jurisdiction. I don't know how that wouldn't be true. Minnesota officials say they cannot rely on federal agencies to investigate themselves and need transparency and accountability. And Jamie, we talked about this at the very beginning when ICE and DHS said they would be handling all the investigations, and Governor Walz and everybody else in Minnesota was like, no, we've got this because we're used to these kind of investigations and we've gotten convictions before in these types of cases. So why don't you let us handle it since it happened here and we don't trust you, and now they have to sue to get that information.
Well, and I think that trust has been the issue all along, because even if the federal government would have given over any of the information they had, I mean, officials from Minnesota have said we can't guarantee that's going to be accurate. And so when you're talking about literally the loss of life, especially one loss of life involving federal officers, people deserve the answers, and these families absolutely deserve answers. And the state needs the ability to investigate what happened. And Hennepin County Attorney Mary Moriarty actually spoke to the press yesterday. This is what she had to say. Cut one, please.
Every person in this country deserves transparency and accountability from their government. Minnesotans saw Renee Good and Alex Preddy die at the hands of federal agents. Julio Sosa Solis was shot, and ICE agents lied about what happened. Now Minnesotans are seeing their federal government hide evidence and obstruct investigations into these incidents. We will not sit by and let that happen.
I think this is one of those cases that obviously what happened in Minnesota during Operation Metro Surge gripped the country for reasons, right? We watched people be murdered in cold blood on the streets. But this isn't entirely surprising coming from this administration. From the beginning, there have been concerns about how these incidents have been handled. Victims were either labeled or blamed by DHS. There were key details that always remained unclear. Families had to push back. They had to say that it wasn't matching with what with who their loved ones were, what we actually saw on tape, because that's literally when it comes down to. When you're watching this all play out on video, your eyes don't lie to you. What the administration has said, and we've talked about it on this program, what the administration has told us about this incident has been nothing but lies from the basic beginning. Alex Preddy was called a terrorist. It was said that he was brandishing a weapon. Well, no, he had a legal conceal and carry. So, I mean, these are things that we've been told over and over.
Yeah, you see it all the time, and we've been gaslit by this administration, as you said. But it's getting to the point where I believe everybody except the administration. There is nothing that comes out of any of their mouths. They lie as easily as they breathe, and these are easy things to check. Like you said, we have the video. We saw this happening on live TV. And yes, I think, again, I'm not a legal scholar, but if two people are killed in Minnesota, that's Minnesota's jurisdiction. And if the feds are not going to release the evidence, then you do have to go to court. You do have to compel them to give up the evidence. And, we saw how quickly once Alex Preddy's killer was identified, how quickly ICE and the DHS got him out of town, moved him somewhere else. They got Bovino out of there. Everything to, let's just make this go away. Well, you can't make it go away. It happened. Nobody is forgetting that it happened. So you got to give up that information. Give us the evidence.
Has there ever been a time, and I've tried to think about this, and I'd have to actually do some research on it. Has there ever been a time when there's been this much distrust between the cooperation of federal agencies and the state agencies? Because it is their jurisdiction, because they were killed in Minnesota. It is the state jurisdiction. But even when it's state jurisdiction, that requires sometimes cooperation from the federal government, especially when it's their agencies involved. Have we ever seen a time when there's been this much distrust and this much lack of cooperation between solving a case between the two separate entities? I can't think of a time there has, and maybe there has been, but it seems rare to me.
I think there's always been a little level of distrust between local authorities and the feds, because the feds come in and try to Bigfoot the local authorities. But in the end, governments tended to stick together, state and federal governments. It was the distrust of the people of the government, and I think that's at a high maybe not seen since Watergate and the Vietnam War. There's always been a little division, but those were two peaks where people really didn't trust what was coming out of the government. And I know there is a fraction of this country that believes everything that's coming out of this government, but a vast number of people have zero trust. And maybe in the past I was a little too trusting of the government.
Sure.
Now I have gone 180 degrees. I don't trust a word that comes out of their mouth. And that's not derangement syndrome or anything. That is just you follow people's actions, that what they do speaks louder than what they say, and they have not given me any reason to believe that anything they tell me is true.
Well, they've lied. They've lied to us standing at podiums, and then a few days later, they lied to us again, saying they never said that. So they actually lie. It is part of the fabric of this particular administration. But when that information starts getting limited, when it starts getting controlled, all that's going to do is create confusion, and it's going to create distrust. And maybe that's the goal. Maybe that's what they want. Maybe they don't want people to trust in the government process of things, which really would be sad because it's your government right now. I mean, you're just over a year into your term. You still have a ways to go. So you think you would want people to trust the process. And
yeah, but they know they don't. They may not have a ways to go. November may be the end for them.
This is true, which is why they would be fighting so hard against midterm elections and trying to pass the SAVE Act and all of that. And I understand that as well. But I don't know. It just, you would think that you would want to maybe not lie as brazenly as they always do, so that people would at least, once in a while think, hey, maybe there's something there. I don't know. It's hard to fathom in my mind. 8:19 right now. This is Daybreak. I'm Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan. And when we come back, oh, man, we talked about it yesterday. Big money going into school board races. It's the Civic Media Network.
All right. When did people trust the government the most, though? Was it Watergate that turned it around and everyone's like, oh, God? Was it all just downhill from there?
I think Vietnam started it. Watergate was a watershed moment, no pun intended, to get people to mistrust the government.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, 15 seconds.
All facts, no fiction. It's Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
It's 8:22 right now. Thank you for joining us this morning. Hey, Brian, for anybody who wants to follow along on things that we're doing here on the show or off the show, We'll remind you that we have a new Facebook page as well as an Instagram page. You can search for us at Daybreak with Brian and Jamie and check it out. Also, doing a little reading here this morning, it turns out that Delta has now suspended travel perks for members of Congress as part of the partial shutdown.
Good. Let them you know what? You created this mess. Now you stand in line and deal with it.
That's right.
You're supposed to work for us, then you have to do the same thing we do. Sorry. Maybe this will, Ted Cruz, I know you love to zip out of town whenever things get dicey. Maybe after standing 4 hours in line in Houston, you'll decide to push a little harder to get things done. Once you don't get to fly over the flyover states and you have to stand in line with every other
the rest of us poor schlubs.
Frustrated traveling person with snotty-nosed kids who are screaming and yelling and old people with bunion problems, and you have to listen to everybody complain. And you get to see the ICE agents just leaning on walls because they have nothing to do because nobody told them what to do, and they're not trained to do most of it, so they're just wandering around. And it was curious, and I know we'll get to what we were planning on talking about, but I didn't see this much diversity in the ICE agents during Metro Surge or when they were here in Chicago. But man, oh man, they are putting out pictures of the ICE agents of color and women to show how lovely this all is. Isn't it great? And then Lauren Boebert talking about Minnesota, even though ICE is not in Minnesota.
No.
The whole thing is it's just another debacle.
Round and round we go is essentially what it looks like to me when I read all of this stuff.
Correct. Here's good news. Tomorrow is opening day, and we're giving you a chance to win some Brewers tickets tomorrow. You need to be listening. We have a great new game coming out, and we have 2 pairs of tickets to a future Brewers game. It's a set game. We know what it is. We'll tell you tomorrow. It's a good one. So we're going to be doing that. And after the news at 8:35, we're going to talk to Marty Wronski. She is the COO of the Brewers, to tell you what's new. So some baseball talk coming up. But first, we talked about this a little bit yesterday because people in Germantown were saying, hey, we've been getting these crazy mailers about the school board election saying, don't Minnesota my Wisconsin, and it's for a guy who's not even running anymore.
This guy had December.
Right. He filed his paperwork saying he wasn't going back. Well, and then we mentioned a little bit about this 1776 Project PAC, which is behind these mailers. They were launched in 2021. They support candidates who vow to overturn any teaching of critical race theory or use the 1619 Project, which is a New York Times Magazine piece with curriculum by the Pulitzer Center about the history of slavery. And God forbid we teach kids about, the truth.
Right.
Well, it turns out they are really getting involved on the local level, and that's part of the plan. So this is no surprise, but school boards, which were never supposed to be political, we know have become very political, and some of the candidates who are running were handpicked by this conservative political group, and they have spent more than $160,000 on local public school board races.
Yeah. In fact,
local public school board races.
In fact, their spending is up 240% on Wisconsin races this year compared to just 1 year ago. And that is according to records from the Wisconsin Ethics Commission, which means you could go look those up if you really, really wanted to, if you don't believe us. Now, this group is also interesting because let's also not forget that this group has ties to Richard Uihlein, Wisconsin's own pro-Republican mega donor and owner of the Uihlein Corporation. Now, last year, this group spent about $48,000 on 26 conservative candidates in 17 districts. This year, spending is about $162,000 on 18 candidates in 12 districts. That is the most money. The most money right now is going to Elmbrook, Waukesha, New Berlin, and those Germantown school districts.
And this is all to make sure that, it lays a base for conservative leadership in your community, because once they get people on the school board, they're hoping that these people will then run for other offices later down the line. But it all is also very dangerous because these are the people who are going to decide the curriculums at your school. And if you're not worried about that, if you're not worried about the whitewashing of history, I don't know how you ever evolve or get better as a person. We can't teach kids that everything was rosy the whole time and expect them to not have some warped worldview. And we see what's happening with people in the administration who wish we lived in a theocracy. They want to be led by God all the time. Pete Hegseth's pastor said he wished God would strike Jim Tallarico dead yesterday. Not very Christian, but we'll put that for another topic. This is the inroads to getting rid of the division between church and state in schools. It will have religion taught in public schools. It will have any sort of negative coverage, realistic but negative coverage of what happened in American history taken out, so that it looks like we were always the great white hope of the world and everything we did was fine. And slavery, those people wanted to come over anyway. We were giving them an opportunity to come and earn a better living here.
And I think this is interesting because Wisconsin is not the only state they're doing this in, right? It's just one of the handful of states that they're working in, according to the guy in charge of the PAC. His name is Ryan Gerdusky. He says that's because of the strong parent groups. Hello, anybody remember Moms of Liberty? Based here who want to improve public education. I mean, and these are the same types of groups who, if you don't want to see the classic books banned in your school library,
yeah,
they're the ones who have that kind of sway and vote, and that's why they're trying to get those people on your local school boards. So this is just our little public service announcement to keep an eye on your local school board races with just a couple of weeks out. It's 8:29 right now. This is Daybreak. I'm Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan. Let's talk baseball. Marty Ronsky from the Brewers joins us after this on the Civic Media Network.
Okay. Fingers crossed for a more swimming experience here.
I thought we were talking baseball, not swimming.
Right. Sorry.
We are. Parker, you've got the notes, right? You got her number?
What?
Okay.
Oh, God.
Oh, Parker.
It's all
we are calling out to her. They are in the invitation notes.
I did not see that in the rundown. Okay. I will find that right now. Thank you, Frank, because I was entirely unaware of that, actually.
Oh, boy.
Phone interview. What do you know?
John is saying, God willing, this will end way sooner than the full term, and a big part of this is the fallacy of the white replacement theory.
Nope, I'm not going to ask it. John, if you had to guess how this will end. Just for some live stream fun. All right, we got a smile and talking out of Parker, so that means we connected.
All right. We have got Marty on the line.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning,
Good
Marty.
morning,
How are
Marty.
you today?
Good. It's good to be back with you guys.
Thank you for being here. We appreciate it.
And I appreciate you having us.
Well, it's
The
a big day.
collective us, right? Hey, we are getting there. This is exciting stuff. Ready to roll.
Now, we've been talking up some different things that we've been seeing and getting everybody ready. And it's always a nice sign that the weather is going to turn and summer's coming around the corner. And
There is nothing Wisconsinites need more right now than opening day. Nothing. It is a form of therapy I'm going with because thank goodness for that roof, right? But we can guarantee a little fun that suggests summer is coming. So that's I'm sticking with that message right now.
Exactly.
Yeah. Once you can walk inside and take your coat off, it doesn't matter what's
That's
going
right.
on outside. It's baseball.
That's right. And, I will tell you, the green grass, right? There is something about seeing bright green grass. I have the blessing of being able to look out onto our field from my office. And when that grass is finally in and green, and I'm telling you, it does something mentally. So we're going to just show everybody a little green grass, if nothing else.
That view never gets old. When you walk in, when you come out of the concourse and you see the field for the first time, no matter how many times, no matter what ballpark you're at, it's amazing.
There is just something about it. And I always say, this is one of those, if you know, you know. Right. It just really, there is something so cathartic about that. And then sort of the slow fill, right, of the stadium for those of us who, it's a special thing. But again, I concluded this about, 5 years ago, where I was like, what is it? And I'm like, it's green. It's because I'm seeing green grass after, a winter here. And it's not just like a plant. It's like a large area. It makes a big difference. Then you add some winds on top of that and it's good.
And you don't have to look out at the elements. It's always springtime out your window. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, we're in a snow globe. We're in a green globe. The opposite of the snow globe. No, it's true. I mean, there really is something to it. And I tell whenever I've got, I'm talking to somebody who seems a little down or a little crabby, I'm like, just go sit in the bowl. Go sit in we call it the stadium bowl, where all the seats are the bowl. And I'm like, go sit out in the bowl for a few minutes and look at the green. It's good for the soul. It's good for the soul.
We will be back in 30 seconds here. Marty, just so you know, if you start to hear music towards the end of the segment, that means we just got a couple seconds left, so we got to wrap it up. So,
you got it.
Thank you much. And we got about 15 seconds here till we're back.
Sounds great.
Now back to more of Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
It's 8:35 right now. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We always appreciate it. My name is Jamie Martinson, and boy, oh boy, Brian, we're getting ready for spring.
We are. It is very exciting, Jamie. For some folks, tomorrow's the best day of the year. Opening day.
Yes.
Christmas, forget about it. Opening day is the day the Brewers open their 2026 campaign at home tomorrow against the White Sox. First pitch is at 1:10. And now every year, the Brewers make some changes to enhance the fan experience at American Family Field. This season is no exception. Here to tell us all about what's new with the Brewers is their Chief Operating Officer, Marty Wronski. Marty, thank you for being here. Very exciting. Is your heart like a child's on Christmas Eve as you get ready for opening day tomorrow?
You guys, thanks for having me. It's actually better than that. This Eve every single year, it's again, I say all the time, it is a holiday. You said it the best. It might be the best holiday. So could not be more excited. And we do have so much for our fans ready to roll. We had a couple exhibition games as practice the last few nights. Won both of those games, guys. It's really looking great this season.
Very
we'll
exciting.
take it. We will take it exactly. But yes, we've got some exciting new things. And, I've talked to other folks. I'm going to start with the food because that's what we do in Wisconsin, right? We love our food. But anybody who's been to the ballpark knows the last couple of years we've added these big elements. We did the alley, food truck alley, and we've done 3rd Street Market Hall Annex. And so really what we did this season was we added to those two awesome spaces. I'll start with my favorite. We added a sweets area. So over by the 3rd Street Market Hall Annex, we've got BB Zito milkshakes. We've got dirty sodas. We're all going to be really hip and cool now because we brought dirty sodas to the ballpark. It's a cool thing. Guys, come on, we're trying to up everybody's cool level here. But, and then we've got, the loose candy. We've got chocolate dipped sweets. It just is going to be that sort of throwback area. I love it. Yes, I have a sweet tooth, so that's going to be fantastic. Then, like I said, we've got BB Zito. I was looking at some of the food last night that they're bringing on. There are some, these honey chicken tenders that look extraordinary, among a litany of other things. And then we've got, on the food truck alley side, we've got a new barbecue over there as well. So, the food world in the ballpark is up in its game once again this year. Tip my hat to Tom Hecht and his team for all they're bringing in there. And then, let's go to the play stuff next, right? Families, so incredibly important to, all of us next-gen Brewers fans that we're raising all over the place. That playground that was on the field level has just been a favorite forever. And people are like, wait, where is it? I'm like, the glove. And everybody goes, oh, yeah, by the glove.
The glove is staying, right? Tell me the glove is
Is
staying.
I'll lead with the end. The glove is staying.
Okay,
Thank you.
It is, yes. And in fact, you ready? I'm going to up you on this. We're going to call it the Glove Playground. And we partnered with Aurora Healthcare on the playground. We've redone, we put that playground in quite a while ago. Everything just needed a little facelift. So we've done that. We've reimagined that space. It's a little more open. Parents can see a little better from inside the space, both their children and the field, the gameplay at the same time. And the playground is accessible, truly accessible for kiddos with, whatever their needs may be. So that's a pretty special thing. And again, hats off to Aurora for partnering with us on that. But the glove stays. And so I keep getting asked, it is hilarious. When we put that thing in, guys, we thought, if selfies weren't a huge thing and whatever else, you show me, even last night I was walking the ballpark at the end of the game, and it's kids putting their parents into the glove to take pictures of them, instead of the reverse. It's the greatest thing ever.
That's because we didn't have any of that stuff when we were kids. So now to get these Instagrammable moments between the glove and the sausage sculptures, last time I was there, I got my picture with all the sausages.
Okay. I hear the joy in your voice. This is really good
It
stuff.
is fun.
Really good stuff. It is fun. And you know what? It's a moment of lightness. We were talking before, the three of us before we came on. And, there's just, I think Wisconsinites, so when baseball comes around every year, we've survived the winter again, right? But the lovely parts of it, the not so lovely parts of it, the long parts of it, and we're back. So we're back with that green grass. We're back with the fun. We're back with an amazing team on the field. 24 giveaways this year, you guys. And mid-season, one other new thing. Fans are going to see some construction out on the plaza. That's the area that surrounds the ballpark. And, we every offseason we study fan feedback and what the ballpark might need. And we decided to add some, tailgating. People still love it. But the newest generation of Brewers fans aren't necessarily all about packing their cars with grills and starting those grills and such, like my kids. And so we are adding a few things. We're going to do it in 2 phases. But we are going to add some F&B for 2027 out there. So a big old bar and food service for 27, but mid-26. And people will see this under construction on opening day. We're going to have a beer garden space. We're going to have a new kids, a cool kids play sculpture, again, accessible. And then we're going to have a mini golf course, all tipping our hats to the state of Wisconsin, across the board. So different little elements across that whole thing. But again, featuring things that are near and dear to Wisconsinites' hearts. Who doesn't love mini golf with the entire family? And there'll be some of the holes will have nods to different Wisconsin things. So
very nice.
All those kinds of entertainment things. Yep. Just so that as you come along, that sense of community, gathering up with people, meeting up with people before you go into the game. We've got our eye on that. And again, that'll be open to anyone who's coming to the game. So really excited about those new things this season, you guys. We replaced a lot of seats. So making sure we're everybody's staying comfortable in those ballpark seats. They're not getting run down. So, everything from the fun stuff to I say it feels like buying a million blenders, but, it's right. But the basic stuff that really matters to fans as well to keep everybody comfortable. So much. Come on out. There is so much to see. And you guys, not to keep just blathering, we are going to release a few tickets for opening day later today.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Very nice.
So you heard it here, folks. The league and the White Sox, right? We always have to hold back some tickets for those folks. And as they firm up their plans, we immediately release those tickets to, if they're not going to use them, we release them to fans. So we are releasing some of those later today. I don't know the exact timing, but if fans jump on brewers.com/tickets a few times today, if you can snag them, they will be there. And if not, we take Friday off. And then Saturday and Sunday, we're playing again. And there's giveaways both of those days. So kids cheer free on Sunday with a cool kid drip necklace giveaway.
Right out of the gate. You guys are like,
right out of the gate.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, we're getting fans going this year, right? We are, come on out, bring your family. The grass is just mushy everywhere else, right? So just come into the ballpark.
You're not going to get muddy feet if you go to American Family Field.
Right.
Marty Ronsky is the chief operating officer for the Brewers, and she's our guest. Let me ask you this, Marty, because we're on stations all over the state, and some people won't be able to get to the ballpark this weekend for the big opening series. The question remains, and people would kill me if I didn't ask. I know tomorrow's game is going to be over the air. They can watch it just on regular old TV. Where can people watch the Brewers for the days that they can't make it out to the field?
Yes, the question of the hour.
The question of the hour.
The question of the hour, that and how am I getting there? But I will tell you, so brewers.com, so there's going to be a theme here, right? I've got 3 places for fans to go. Brewers.com/tickets. That's where to buy your tickets. Brewers.com/watch. Okay, so where do I watch the Brewers? And then we're going to get to this maybe if we have time, but brewers.com/traffic. Okay,
Yes.
Those are going to be your 3 key things. Traffic is it's a website. We've partnered with DOT. It's going to you're going to say, I'm coming from the east and I'm going to the outlot. What's my fastest route? And it's going to tell you. Okay, so everybody go on that. If there's a little bit of extra traffic and construction in the ballpark area, go there. With respect to watching, brewers.com/watch. You are correct. If you saw us on TV last year, you're going to more likely than not be able to watch us on TV this year. We've changed from FanDuel over to what's called Brewers TV, and the Brewers are working together with Major League Baseball now to produce our games. So that's the shift. People are like, why? We think it's going to be a much better experience for the fans. The broadcasts are actually going to be better. Same folks back, okay? Bill and Brian and Sophia and the gang, they are going to be back. So nobody panic about that. Now, the stations, you're like, yeah, Marty, I get it, but what station? We don't know in this exact moment. We will know within the next several hours here, and we're going to blast it everywhere, you guys, okay? And so that's brewers.com/watch. Why? The league's negotiating those agreements. Deadlines create results, right? So in those negotiations with the different stations, those will be coming to an end today. So that fans can watch tomorrow. So look there.
Perfect.
Additionally, our streaming service, guys, when in doubt, you're going to be able to stream us. Okay, so go to that watch, $19.99 a month or $99.99 for the full season. It is, the monthly, you can start and end as you see fit, but that's also going to be an incredible resource, even if you've got us on TV, right? But folks that get us on TV understand that there's lots of places in Wisconsin that those carriers, our broadcasts don't get to them. Right. So we want those folks. It's so important to us for the entire viewing area to be able to watch our games. That's where the streaming service comes in. And that's why it was so important to us to ensure that we could make that available to everyone. So no blackouts. Anywhere you are, you can download that streaming opportunity. Again, brewers.com/watch. Just thinks, where do I watch? I know. Let me go to brewers.com.
Right on my app, yeah. And that's how people watch so much content anyway.
Yes.
It's people are used to streaming now, so it's not.
That's exactly right. That's exactly.
Let's go.
I mean, my mom's doing it, guys. Like my mom is doing it. It is, and yes, she's on the savvier end of a nearly 80-year-olds who are doing these things. But it's both, and it's just the way that so much is being watched these days. And interestingly, right, the extra content you get is pretty darn cool.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna have your little device, you're gonna stare at it anyway, and just think like you're at something that you don't really want to be at. The Brewers are playing. Like, you sneak away, you pull it up.
That's right.
Like, come on, we've all done it.
Yep.
So we're building fandom here in a very big
I did
way.
that at a wedding last year during playoffs, just in case anybody's wondering.
I love you.
So
we won't tell the people who we're getting married, but
it's fine.
You.
They were Brewers fans too. So
I love it.
Major League Baseball is rolling out this new automated ball strike challenge system this year.
Yeah.
How is that going to change things for fans?
It's really interesting, actually. So I was watching it the last 2 days. It's been used as we had our exhibition games, just to get everybody sort of up to speed. It's pretty fascinating when you see it pop up. It shows you all sorts of things. We'll put on the scoreboard, here's the challenge. We'll put on the scoreboard, here's the strike zone, and this is where the ball actually went. It's not. It reminds me of tennis. Right.
Sure.
If anybody who watches tennis, when there's a challenge, you see exactly where the line is and where the ball went. Same thing with the strike zone. It gives like measurements. It's really cool. And I think it just is going to be, again, we've had some rule changes in the last few years. It's another one of those things, and I think it's going to be pretty fascinating for fans. It will not slow the game down like crazy because the number of requests are limited. The way this is being used is limited. So it doesn't really slow things down because it's so instant. They're not making a phone call somewhere. The technology is doing it. So again, it's really interesting. I think it's fascinating. It'll satisfy fans when there's that once in a blue moon where it seems out. It's also really interesting. There were a few yesterday where there was a challenge from the hitter in the box and they were wrong, right? So it's just it's just very, very interesting. And now it's another way to keep stats. How many challenges are right? How many are wrong? It makes the game that much more interesting to continue to watch. So love it. Thanks for asking. It's a really neat new addition.
Well, Marty, thank you for being here. Marty Wronski is the Chief Operating Officer for the Milwaukee Brewers. Opening day is tomorrow. First pitch against the White Sox at 1:10. Marty, thank you for all the information. Happy opening day. Everybody go to brewers.com to get all your other questions answered. And here we go. 162 games starts tomorrow.
Woohoo! Go Brewers. Thanks for having me, you guys.
Thank you so much,
You're
Marty.
welcome. Bye-bye.
It's
All right.
8:48 right now. You are listening to the Civic Media Network.
All right, Marty. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
we really
you,
appreciate
Marty.
your time.
Thank you, Marty.
Why does this stop? Okay. For some reason, the phone system doesn't always tell me when people hang up.
Yeah. Well, she probably had to take a breath.
She has a lot,
She had a lot to say. Yeah.
She has a
did.
lot to say.
She was getting it out.
It's all very important.
They've obviously done a few of those over the course of the last few days. At least she's excited.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
She, good guest.
Sometimes you have those events come on and you have somebody from the company or whatever come on the show and you're like, oh, wow, you're not very excited about your own event. Okay.
Yeah, they know how to market.
Yes, they're
Everybody
good
I've
at
ever
it.
talked to about with the Brewers. The Brewers have seemed to be a much better partner than the Cubs ever were.
Do you think I think part of that is because I think for Wisconsin sports in general, especially the Packers and, well, I guess you could say the Bucks, even if they suck this year. But I think they're in such small markets. They almost have to be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're not
maybe.
a brand. The Cubs are a brand. The Brewers are not.
A team. Well, I mean, just evidence that they reached out to us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
John says he will not be on the YouTube stream. Says that it's another paid service to stream a pro sports team already making money hand over fist. Sorry, hard pass. I understand that.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I understand that. Listen, there's still something about listening to baseball on the radio.
That's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Which you can if you listen to
Yes.
some of our Civic Media stations.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't remember which ones.
I don't either.
7 affiliates this year.
7. Okay. Nice. That's actually more than I remembered.
I knew it was 6 or it was between 6 and 8. I couldn't remember exactly how many.
Okay. I was thinking it was like 6 or maybe even 5. But 7 is better.
7 is better. So it gives us a little more leeway with them.
Alrighty. We got 15 seconds.
Okie dokie.
Want to join in on the conversation? Call or text 855-75-CIVIC. Now back to Brian and Jamie.
It's 8:52 right now. We hope that you're having a great morning. Thank you for joining us on the Civic Media Network. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan. Good morning. Don't forget, we just talked to Marty Ronsky from the Brewers. Tomorrow, we will be giving you a chance to win 2 pairs of Brewers tickets, 1 pair per customer. Don't get greedy. But, we've got a good game coming. Do we know what time that we're doing this yet? Frank, do we have a game time for this so we can tell people when to tune in? I know that we want them listening from 6 to 9. That's when we're on the air. Are we doing it at any particular time? All right, I'll just make up a time. Sometime after 7 o'clock or something.
Oh, you're muted.
Yeah. All right, I should. Why do I think that our producers are hanging on every word and are always ready to jump in and help us? That's all right.
Time to change the settings, Brian. I'm always here to help you.
Are you?
What time are we doing this tomorrow?
I don't think we have a concrete time just yet.
Okay.
It depends on you guys know. It depends on guest availability and their schedules.
All right, here's your deal. Be listening the whole show. It's more than likely going to happen. It'll happen after 7 o'clock.
It'll happen in 7
We will
and
have
8.
Callers are playing the game, and you'll have a chance to win 1 pair. We have 2 pairs. You'll get a chance to win 1 pair of tickets to a future Brewers game, and it's a good one. So be listening tomorrow. Boy, that tease ended up being horrifying. I thought it was going to be a nice, quick tease. It was not.
We tried harder.
Not at all. But that's all right. Thank you, Frank. Always a pleasure.
I don't think you mean that.
I don't. Hey, here's a question. What's your favorite your ultimate breakup song? Your ultimate breakup song, 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. We're asking you that because the reason Parker played The Chain by Fleetwood Mac coming back, other than the fact that he's finally starting to delve into music that Jamie and I know and bring things around. I'm breaking bad on everybody. Buckle up. We got 6 minutes left, and I'm burning it all down. But The Chain now has become. This is again why you read headlines, more than headlines. It's been considered the ultimate breakup song, but not for the reasons you may think. Jamie, you probably had Rumors. Everybody had Rumors, right? When it came out.
Rumors. It's a great album. The Chain is a good song. But yeah, you're right.
Just a good song.
Yeah, it's. Here's the thing. I am more of I love Fleetwood Mac. Don't get me wrong. I am more of a Stevie Nicks solo artist fan. I just felt like she actually brought it just a little bit more, and she's got such a range. I like Fleetwood Mac.
He's
and
back.
I listen to a lot of Fleetwood Mac, but I really do love Stevie Nicks as also a solo artist. So
hot take, Frank is back.
That's a hot take, Jamie.
I like Fleetwood Mac. I didn't say I didn't like Fleetwood Mac. I like her better as a solo artist.
Is it because she twirls so much and gives off witchcraft vibes and loves cocaine?
She did all of that even with Fleetwood Mac. I think she has such an incredible voice. Stevie Nicks has such an incredible voice, and you got to hear it during Fleetwood Mac days. But then when you got her into some of those more harder songs, where it had a little bit more of that rock sound to it, you got to really hear her get into that raspy part of her voice. And I really do love Stevie Nicks. Okay. So, anyway.
All right. And just that The Chain is a good song. I think it's a great song.
Pretty damn good song.
And it is. The reason and it was not supposed to be the hit. They didn't release it as a single at first. It wasn't supposed to be the one. But it ended up being. It's still on like all these charts for being. It's on the Billboard Global 200 still, second highest charting track there for Fleetwood Mac. Landslide and Dreams is the only one that's higher, but it passed Landslide. But they call it the breakup. See, when I think breakup songs, I think songs that I listened to in high school and college after being dumped, and there were a lot of them, from Smoking in the Boys' Room to, Why Don't We Get Drunk and Screw? I listened to all of them. Those are breakup songs. But they called this a breakup song because everybody in the band was breaking up when they wrote it.
Yes. I mean, yeah, there was a lot of drama that happened with Fleetwood Mac. But I think if you're talking like the absolute breakup song, like back in high school, right? You remember those days? There's different levels of breakup and where you're at. Are we talking the sad and sappy broke up song? Are we talking the angry breakup song? Are we talking the healing song, the revenge song? Because I feel like there's different songs for each of those categories.
Oh, there were no healing songs for me. It was always
Sure there
sad and
were.
sappy or angry.
Yeah,
What's a
where
healing
it's called
breakup song?
The boys
I
are
will
back
sur-
in town, baby.
I will
Thin
survive. There
Lizzy.
you go.
Gather up the boys. We're going out.
Women tend to gravitate towards Gloria Gaynor's "I Will Survive." There was Paul
Oh,
Carrick's
that's
"Don't Shed a
lame.
Tear,"
Hack.
that kind of stuff. But "Boys Are Back in Town's a good one. But I think it just depends on what level of breakup you're actually talking at, what stage of the process. You're
Every
in.
breakup song for a guy begins and ends with Desperado. There is
Wow.
no
What a pick.
there is no better breakup song other than Greg Kinn's aptly named The Breakup Song.
Yeah.
Little on the
That's a
nose,
good one.
Greg.
Parker,
mean,
does Gen Z have a breakup song?
I'm sure there is. I can't think of any.
I
right
love
now,
that
though.
you don't consider yourself a part of your people.
Yeah.
It's not that
I'm
I don't
sure they
consider
do.
myself part of- I'm, yeah,
Like
sure
you're not in
they
your
do.
early 20s. I'm sure they do.
I'm not in touch. I don't know. I haven't had a breakup in a while, Frank. I don't know.
The revenge
Matt from Eau Claire
portion.
says Led Zeppelin's Nobody's Fault
Oh,
But
yeah.
Mine, and Eric Clapton Promises.
Oh, that's a good one too. I think my favorite part of the breakup song, how the breakup is when you get to the revenge. I think that's the best part of the music portion of the breakup song. The angry part too, because for me it would be like Alanis Morissette's "You Ought to Know" if you're in that angry part. And then when you're at the revenge part, then you have like Taylor Swift's "Vigilante" blank, because we can't say it on the air. And then "Before He Cheats" by Carrie Underwood. "Love Stinks" says John over on our
Love
YouTube
Stinks
chat
is a
this
good one,
morning.
yeah.
That's a good one too. Yeah.
I mean, Taylor Swift, and we're getting really into the weeds now.
Oh, you guys are young. Jeez.
Released a 31 track
Yes.
double album just about her situationship with Maddie Healy from the 1975.
She's very
Take your
dramatic, that young
No.
Taylor Swift. Very dramatic. She needs to get her message out. All right, well, hopefully you don't have to play a breakup song today because tomorrow's opening day, so be happy today. We're done.
Absolutely. We made it. It's 8:59 right now. Thank you for listening to Daybreak. Once again, this is the Civic Media Network.
Bye.
All right, live stream. We are going to see you tomorrow. Have a good day.